What? No? What are you talking about? There's supposed to be silence and a delay there. That's always been there. I don't know why you would think that we do anything other than wait for the timer to run out and then just kind of sit there for a minute. That's just kind of how this stream goes. Folks, how we doing today? How is everybody out there on this fine Thursday? God damn it. I hate when I forget to turn my compressor off. It just reminds me periodically after the fact. My oh my. Kursala, Timestop Project, Dark Fox, GM, Kaylee, Tropic CBT. It has been a while, my friend. How are you doing? There's Desert Owl, DFW Dwegham, ooh, and Data Nerd. Folks, how are we doing? How's the mini compressor thing? I've only used it a few times. It has kind of limited applications, I find, but for small, quick jobs, it's really nice, particularly when I'm already in the middle of painting and I don't feel like turning on the compressor, arranging it, pulling out my little, like, cleaning pot, everything like that. I can just kind of grab the airbrush, do a little glaze real quick, run some cleaner through it, and sort of call it a day. I forgot my coffee. I forgot my coffee. Hang on. I'll be right back. I just realized I don't have a BRB button on this Stream Deck setup because I never get up when I'm on this screen. So give me just a second. I'll be right back. Okay, there we go. Man, this has been a weird week. It has been a weird week. Not just in the broad sense, well, with everything happening, you know, in the world, but it's been a weird week for me. I don't know if I came down with something. I don't know exactly what happened. Tuesday, I was really scattered, and I was starting to feel a little funky, and then yesterday I was down for the whole day. I just had a splitting headache. I was queasy. I had no appetite, etc., etc., etc. It was bad. I don't know what was going on. I wake up this morning and I'm fine. I don't know. Do I have like a 24-hour to 48-hour flu? It's possible, I suppose. It was very strange. Oh. Did I not update it? I should have updated. What was the stream title? I put in a new one. Maybe I just didn't hit the change button yet. There we go. It was still on Transistor? Okay, yeah. I think I typed it all in and then I just didn't hit the change button. Chex Quest. So how's everybody doing today? I hope you all are having a decent Thursday out there in the Twitchverse. We're going to go ahead and get started in a few minutes. We've only done one previous attempt at oil painting Battlemech. We've only done one previous attempt, and it was mildly successful. I think it was fairly interesting. We're going to take another swing at it today with our Battlemasters and a few new colors that we've got and see how that goes. Customer sent me a thank you gift, and I'm drinking it. God, I hope it was booze. Well, I should clarify. I hope it was a fluid. A potable fluid of some kind. Because otherwise this is going to get real weird. Whistle Pig Rye. Ooh. Oh my god. I do love a good mug of coffee. Yeah, Automat, it's, I'm not going to get into it today. I'm not going to do like a whole thing on it. I'm sure everyone's watching the news. Fucking fuck. That's all I got to say. So we're just gonna paint our minis and play our games and roll our dice. Must be that short COVID, yeah, right? Monday morning, my sense of taste and smell was just straight up gone, and then Tuesday was back like nothing happened. Maybe the simulation's breaking down. Maybe that's what's been happening for the last, like, 6 to 7 years. Maybe the last 10, maybe the last 20 years. Maybe since 2001 the simulation has been breaking down. And the issues have just compounded now to the point where they're finally all stacking up. Yeah, I feel you on that one, Roland. Who the hell knows? Who the hell knows? The Y2K bug was real. Yeah, it undid everything. And we just didn't realize it. It took a while for things to get bad enough that we could actually put our finger on exactly what happened. Starting my oil paint test tonight. It's not great so far, but I didn't figure it would be. There's a learning curve to it. Ion Raptor. I'm still not through it myself. I'm still experimenting and trying new things. And we're going to try something new tonight. I'm going to be painting up a couple of Battlemasters experimentally, aiming for Grey Death Legion. And I've got an idea for how I want to start and how I want to do some of the details. We'll see how it goes. This in-game content sucks balls, right? It just becomes like a real grind there towards the end, and for no perceivable benefit. Why did he decide to replace his face with a VTuber version of Orson Welles? Ah, the French champagne, a tradition rooted in thousands of years of orchards and vineyards. Oh boy. I've been compared to worse. I've been compared to far worse. I want to become as utterly just fucked up and not giving a shit as Orson Welles was there by the end. I've got a job today? Well, I'll only drink 8 martinis instead of 12. How you doing, Dr. Rhino? What's up, man? Can we get a shout out? Can we get a shout out, pretty please? For the talented Dr. Rhino, and for that matter, for Ion Raptor Designs. I wonder, Ion Raptor, are your streams going to remain solely 3D modeling, or will we ever see the Ion Raptor paint desk? I have to wonder. Oh boy, look, a bot posting links. Don't click it, ban him. Fuck you, bot. Son of a bitch. And of course, how could I forget for Project Dark Fox? Our very own Project Dark Fox, an incredibly talented artist in his own right. And the concept artist for a number of designs we've done here at Thunderhead Studio. Really enjoy watching Project Dark Fox's streams. They're informative for someone like me who I'm no good at two-dimensional art. I'm really not. Good question, maybe one day. It has more overhead associated with it. I say overhead. I guess maybe that's wordplay because the camera's over my head. I don't know. I've actually moved my camera recently and it's better because I can't knock my head into it anymore. You used to be able to actually see it right here in the frame. It's further away now. How you doing today, to Square? About to try and sell an army. Scary shit. I hate selling armies. I have had like a moment of regret and depression every single time I have sold a tabletop army. I get really attached to my models. I'm not good at letting go. I'm really not. I once got emotionally attached to an old pair of sneakers to the point that I cried when my mom threw them away. And you know what? I have no regrets. None. Well, not none. I have some regrets, but not about that. Just assume no one will want it. Rhino, what the fuck are you talking about, dude? That's one of the only ways you can sell models, honestly. You either have to paint on commission to the point that you're painting for someone's specific army, or you have to sell a complete army. Selling miniatures is an odd game. Because, like, nobody wants an army of mix-match motley figures, you know? Nobody wants to have half of an army in one quality and then half-assedly try to match it themselves later on and have the other half look, just okay. You want it to all have a contiguous artistic vision behind it, so having a full army you can put up is one of the easiest ways to sell painted models. And there's definitely a, what's the word for it? There is a wide zone after the point where you open a box of models and assemble it, and then, like, okay, let me put it this way. If you're selling new models, they're worth a good amount of money. If you're selling models that are truly professionally painted to a high standard, they can also be worth a lot of money. And there's this huge zone in between, including both, I would say all, bad, okay, good, and pretty good model painters, where all you've done is devalue the model effectively by putting paint on it, because now there's more work associated with painting it themselves. People expect a discount on things that are only okay paint jobs, because they're gonna have to strip it and repaint it. Now, that all being said, Dr. Rhino, your paint jobs on a whole army, those I believe are going to sell. Hey, what's up, Bahamut? How you doing today, man? Got the Anniversary Inquisitor, nice. Hey, Cookie Mama, welcome in. Voxel Forge, good to see you. Oh, I'll have to check that out. Now, margin of error isn't right. Margin of error isn't right. I'm gonna coin the term poo-poo zone. It's the poo-poo zone. You don't want to fall into the poo-poo zone. No, that works. Actually, no, that works. Because you don't want to fall into the poo-poo zone on any level. That was a confidence boost. Gonna go buy a lottery ticket and punch a cop. Aw, rip Dr. Rhino. Look, it's accurate, okay? It works on a few levels. Got your Octopi running good for my Ender. Is it bad that it took me until just a few months ago to understand that running Octoprint on a Raspberry Pi was like a joke about octopi? Like, I didn't put that together in my head until fairly recently, and I feel a little dumb as a result. I feel a little dumb as a result of a lot of things, but most recently as a result of that. Oh, shucks, Cookie Mama. Well, keep your weight off it. I hope it's just minor. Look at what eBay Miniature Rescue does on YouTube. I don't think I've seen that channel. I don't watch a lot of YouTube. I don't know. I never really got into just sitting around and watching YouTube. I watch, like, a handful of particular channels that I subscribe to. Like, I consume everything Red Letter Media does. I watch a good amount of Goobertown Hobbies. Who else do I watch regularly? You know, funny stuff, you know? I'll watch Ryan George. Not a lot, though. It's something to attend to. Oh, definitely favor it then, Cookie Mama. Soft tissue damage in the feet, in the legs. That sucks. That sucks. I am familiar with Dana Howell. I haven't watched a lot of Dana Howell stuff. If I'm not going to Adepticon, am I going to E10 this year? It's very possible. I couldn't possibly give you a yes or no right now on that one, Dr. Rhino. I'd like to do Adepticon still. Even this late, things have just been very up in the air. I think if I could find a room for Adepticon, I could probably still swing it. Hey, Autofire, thank you so much. Thank you so much for saying so. Things are a bit hectic, but they're always hectic around here. Doing model rescues from eBay, so stripping, repaint, repairs. That's actually pretty cool, because there's a lot of that needs doing. Oh my god, pro-painted. I do amuse myself sometimes by going to eBay and typing in, like, pro painted 40K and just seeing what passes for it. I would consider that stream content, just going through eBay pro paint, but I also feel like that would be far too mean-spirited. Like, I don't want to be the guy who's on Twitch looking at specific painters' profiles on eBay going, look at how much this guy sucks. I don't want to be that guy. I'm going to do that in my private time. I'll be that prick when nobody's watching. Hey, Manro Fasal, howdy to you too, my friend. Thank you so much for the 21 months. Thank you for all of your support. I hope you're having a good day today. Do you have Space Doctor right? Yeah, hit me up on Discord after this and let's actually talk about that. Because that would actually... That could work. That could work. No cuddles. Oh, I was going to be the big spoon. Damn it. Broke down and got a UV curing station today after almost a week outdoors, not having my Battlemasters cure, not having them zapped under the light. Normally they take 3 hours here in the set. That's pretty rough. That's pretty rough, Desert Owl. In a proper UV curing station, they shouldn't take any more than 5 minutes or so. Oh my god, what's up, Sarah? Sarah is painting, stopping in for the first time. Welcome in. Thank you so much for getting that shout out, Riot Sister. Guys, seriously, Sarah's painting is, she's an amazingly talented artist. I will note that if you're just here for the minis and the robots and the fantasy soldiers and the lightsabers, she's much more of a canvas artist. But oh my god, what she does with oil paints, which I've obviously become interested in recently. I stumbled onto her channel when she was working on... Most recently been working on Gandalf and then that Japanese village landscape. I saw the Japanese village landscape first and I was like, this is interesting. This is interesting. Let me drop a follow. And then I saw the Gandalf and my mind was blown. That the likeness of Ian McKellen, the depth of it really blew my mind. So guys, if you enjoy just art and a really nice, calm, chill stream, which is honestly what I usually need late at night, just something to slow my brain down a bit, definitely go give her a follow. Here for the blackmail. Damn it, Dr. Rhino. Sticking them in for 15. Holy shit. Yeah, you probably don't need to cure for 15 minutes. That's a bit rough. That's a bit rough. So Sarah's painting, you said you were gonna potentially be working on a portrait of Galadriel in the near future, and if that's true, I want to see that one from the beginning. I want to see that one from the beginning, because that's... I may or may not have a thing for Cate Blanchett. I will neither confirm nor deny this. I may or may not have a completely separate thing for Galadriel. It's possible. You already got it started? Fantastic. Fantastic. I'm gonna have to drop in, man. I'm bad at keeping track of when people are streaming. Just terrible at it. I'm looking forward to seeing that. I'm curious if I know I went on and on the other night when I was in your stream about the highlights for Galadriel, but it's one of those things that's like, once you see it, you can't unsee it. It's just, it's there, it's in your head from then on. Like, every time I watch the movie, I just see the lights in her eyes, because I'm like, oh, that's such a cool detail. If you work that into your painting, I'll be very impressed. Oh, damn it, Gimmish card. That would have been a perfect bit when I was pitching Sarah's painting. I could have been like, instead of a Dark Lord, you could have a queen. Not dark, but beautiful, and terrible as the dawn. Treacherous as the sea. Etc., etc. I say etc. because I don't actually remember the rest of what she says there. Alright. We gotta do some painting this stream, what do you say? Why don't we do that? Very different during soccer. Oh god. I don't want to imagine someone who I know is so calm, angry, and competitive. That would be terrifying. Why is that highlighted? Stop being highlighted. There we go. Let's line you up. Camera's working as it should be. Yeah, they wrapped Christmas lights. Everybody else has that singular eye light to give their eyes life, and this is something you notice when you start really paying attention to how movies are made. They'll generally have a light that shines in the actor's eye and glares out towards the camera to give their eyes that lifelike, vibrant appearance. And for Galadriel, they used a cluster of Christmas lights. It's like a little bundle of them kind of wrapped around the lens. So when you look in Cate Blanchett's eyes in The Lord of the Rings, specifically in the scenes where she's in with other people, it'll go over to, like, Celeborn, and he's got the single light, and then we go over to Galadriel, and her eyes are just glittering with this halo. It's very cool. It's one of those things you really don't notice on a conscious level most of the time. By the way, here you go, Rat Sisters. I don't think I did this last time for you.
Hello there.
It is wonderful, Cookie Mama. And yeah, Gimli falls for Galadriel pretty hard. Stay up swapping manly stories, and ye'll be there. We shall game and consume many chilies and pizza. Oh, we'll consume some chilies. Oh, you better believe that. I need to contact Yi, though, because if I'm gonna go, I don't want to check my models. I'm glad to hear that Sarah's painting. That's exciting. I don't want to check my models. I'd rather be able to ship them. And he's driving, is my understanding. He's about 4 hours away. So if he's driving and he's willing to rent me some space on the Yi Express, I'm going to go ahead and take advantage of that. I need to finish this guy up. I haven't actually touched him since our last stream, but here you can get a look at him now that he's not shiny, that the oils have cured. I came back in and I did a little bit of blending on him. Just real soft bristle blending. I think I want to do a little bit more work on our horsey horse. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. Just some more shading. And a few things I want to address. But all in all, for one stream, this came out pretty nice. The red needs to be readdressed, and I need to finish up the detailing on the rider, but I actually like how the horse's coat came out. I think with more practice, I'll be able to do more complex patterns. All in all, not bad, though, for how quickly we did it. I think that my instincts on non-metallic metal are getting better as we continue to work. So, we're doing Grey Death Legion tonight. Grey Death Legion is not the most exciting paint scheme. It's kind of a blue-gray, which is sort of why I want to do it, is because it is simple and I'm not going to have to futz around with a lot of things. I don't think I'm going to bother doing the camo patterns. I really like camo patterns. So the most interesting thing that I want to try to do on this, and it's really because I just want to try this technique, is I'm going to go ahead and pre-glaze in Van Dyke Brown to give all the shadows and the deep parts a nice warmth, and then I'm going to build up from that into gray. And I think that will keep the gray pretty interesting without being terribly difficult to do. We're going to find out. Also going to want some Terra Rosa out here to start with. Any Rainy River Designs paints on mechs? So, time stop. I just got, and where's the box? I literally just got my acrylics in from Rainy River Designs. And I only had a chance to, I got out and picked them up from the mailbox yesterday. I haven't had a chance to open them yet. But we're going to do some Rainy River Designs acrylics next week is my plan. Because I have some tanks from Rainy River Designs, and I can think of nothing more appropriate to go down on these than Rainy River acrylics. So yeah, we're going to be doing, in fact, next week, we're going to be doing both of these in Rainy River. I've got them primed up, I've got them magnetized just how I want them. We'll have some fun with these. Alright, what else do I want? I'm gonna want some ivory black. And I'm gonna put my ivory black over here in the corner so I remember where it is. I'm gonna need some titanium white, because who doesn't need titanium white? I'm very interested to try my Gamblin' Radiant should be getting here in the next few days. And I'm very interested to try the Gamblin' Radiant white. I've heard interesting things about it. Apparently it's very, very strong. Which, if I'm trying to do something that's actually gonna want a pure white, I feel like that's gonna be interesting. I don't know, we're gonna test them out. I'm not a huge fan of this tube of Winsor and Newton Payne's Gray, the Winton Payne's Gray that I've got. It's real weak, but we're going to use it a bit today as a tint at least. I don't know, I think once I use up this tube, I might just eschew Payne's Gray altogether in favor of mixing my own. Long live Portland Gray. I've not heard of Portland Gray. Tell me more, pun expected. I want some indigo. And you can see I'm kind of trying to break up how I do my palette now in terms of temperatures. I've got my neutrals over here, cools here, and warms over here so far. We'll see how long that lasts. I might want some burnt sienna. I'm not sure. I'm going to leave the tube out just in case I do. There was something else. There was something else I needed. What was it? Got indigo, Van Dyke, Terra Rosa, Payne's Gray, white black. I'm going to want some red later, but I'm not going to pull that out yet. Let's just go with this. Let's just start here. I'm a little frustrated. I ordered some, because I'm trying to not use white spirits as much. Like, these are a fine solvent, but I want to try out lavender spike oil instead. And I ordered some, and they sent me instead walnut oil, which is not what I wanted. I barely use linseed oil. Like, you very rarely need to add any linseed oil to these paints for what we're doing. Certainly don't want walnut oil. If I was doing canvas or something, maybe walnut oil would be interesting to me, but I'm not, and it isn't. So I had to reorder some. Alright, let's take some of our Van Dyke here and a little bit of ivory black. You know what I'm going to do, too? Just because I'm trying to be more experimental and creative here, is I'm going to grab a little bit of our Terra Rosa, which is pretty strong. I'm going to put this in to our pre-glaze. Oh, shit. Maybe that was too much. Oh, no. What have I done? Oh, God. Okay, so we're learning lessons. I'm going to stop what I'm doing right now, and we're going to start over, since we just got started. We've just learned something here. Oh my god, Terra Rosa is really, 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 really strong. So let's do something else here. Let's take our Van Dyke over into a new little puddle here, and a little bit more ivory black, and let's add a little solvents. Yee! Oh, you got a good Satsuki figure from Kill La Kill? I found I have a Satsuki and a Matsuko, but they weren't my favorite sculpts, necessarily. I wanted, like, specifically Satsuki is in this, like, really low crouched pose, and, oh, why is my face blurry? Let me fix that. And I was not a fan of that. I wanted her in more of a, I was about to use the phrase erect, which is accurate. I want her in more of an erect pose, but not for the reasons you might think. why? Why would you suddenly make my face blurry? Like, why would you do it? What are you even trying to focus on? Stupid camera. Alright, there's still a little bit of Terra Rosa on my brush, and I'm going to let that do the work.
There's something about Canopian catgirls that give me that warm, fuzzy feeling.
Just going to take
or maybe it's just
bit.
my allergies.
Just a tiny bit. Okay, that's much more what I was thinking. That's much more what I was thinking. That warmed it up just slightly. And that is much, much better. Whew! Okay. We're learning lessons. I want to thin this guy out quite a lot since this is our pre-glaze. And I'm not going to get complicated with the pre-glaze tonight. We're just going to do the same glaze on the entire figure. Since we're not doing anything organic, I don't think we really need that color variation so much. And again, the pre-glaze is really just going to serve as kind of a tint anyway. I want to work it down into all the crannies. It's something I've noticed sometimes is I'll fail to really push the pre-glaze down in between sharp parts of the model, and the oil will kind of wind up pulling away if it doesn't get all the way down there, and I got these funny little bright spots. I want to avoid that. Ooh, what you having, Dark Fox? Yeah, there you go. You gotta stab it in there. So the brushes I'm going to use tonight are the cheapest goddamn synthetics that I could find on Amazon. Because I want to test them out. I was about to mention the Thunderhead's Home for Wayward Paints program, which actually, I should go ahead and open up that box tonight. Because that's got the whites and blacks in it that I need to actually send some kits out in acrylics. But I mention it because I'm also going to be sending out some oil paints for people who want to try getting started oil painting with models. And that's the reason I'm trying these brushes, is if they work, like if they really, really don't suck at oil painting for the price is absolutely right, and I'll be including them along with a small set of Van Gogh oil paints to get people started. I've tried out some of the Van Gogh, and I like it pretty well. It's definitely a better starting place than, at least I think it's a better starting place than the Winsor & Newton Winton colors. I started with Winton, and they've been fine, but they definitely have weaknesses. Thin this down some more. It's a little thick for my purposes. This is just a pre-glaze. This should be about as lean as you can get it. Have heaps of cheapy brushes that I love. So these are some of the details about oil painting that I'm really enjoying for models in particular, Sarah. Over painting with the conventional knowledge of acrylics. You do kind of need some more expensive brushes to do really good work in acrylics. You do not in oils. You really don't. The supplies in general are just so much cheaper. Oil paint in particular, like the actual paint, and that's just because as far as quantity goes, when you're painting models, you use so little of it. So little actual paint goes down. Oh, actually maybe I want to do that gun in an indigo. Maybe. In fact, yeah, that's what we're going to do. I'm going to leave the gun unglazed, and we're going to come back in with some indigo. I mean, I think Sarah, it's mostly to do with painting something so small. You need some fairly fine brushes, and if you're going to have fine brushes with a really, really fine tip, you wind up having to buy sable. And then part of it is also marketing, because miniature painting is its own hobby. There are companies that are specialized in miniature paints and miniature paint tools, and they sell that shit at a wild premium that is not really justified by anything except I like the general ignorance of a lot of people who are getting into painting for the first time through minis. I don't think experienced artists, for the most part, would struggle with it so much, but, you know, a lot of people who paint miniatures aren't painters, broadly speaking. We're just... We want armies, and we're getting into painting because that's what you gotta do. So you find a brand that you like, and you buy their specialized tools, and you usually get gouged. Alright, let's let that sit for a bit and do our second one. Grab a little more Van Dyke to mix in here. Oof, it's a bit thick. Hey, Techno Sugar, how you doing? The world of miniature painting is an interesting one as far as it relates to art in general. A lot of things are very, very specialized, and it's one of the reasons I've enjoyed switching to oil paints and thinking more about, like, okay, what pigment is in this? What pigment, what medium? As opposed to trying to match colors across brands when it's like Reaper with their 90,000 different names for paints. And Pro Acryl has their own names for each and every individual paint that they make, every single formulation, and it's like, I wish that there was a more standardized palette of colors. And that is very, very true in oil paints. There is a much more standardized palette of colors that we're all working with. When I say I'm going to do Van Dyke Brown, there might be some variation as far as which brands I'm using, but for the most part, Van Dyke Brown is going to be Van Dyke Brown. Most of the variations you're going to have are going to be in consistency and pigmentation, like how heavily pigmented it is, not what pigments are in it. On the right side of the dirt, that's something, Techno Sugar. We're keeping it going. We're keeping it together. One day at a time, you know? These are not the best prints. I got some nasty print lines on some parts of it, but oh well, who gives a crap? We're doing stupid quick and easy today. We're trying to do stupid quick and easy on everything. I'm just trying to get faster at doing everything. But
welcome everyone to Thunderhead Studios, where the only rule is...
Please don't show me your genitals. Please don't.
Have fun, be safe, and above all...
don't show them to me. For the love of God. Above all, folks. It's rule 1 for a reason. Speaking of which... God, that's a terrible transition. Speaking of which, you know what I was about to say and then thought? I'm just going to say it. I was going to say, speaking of which, Sarah is painting. If you want to post something in the Storm Report, that is a terrible transition. Oh my God. That was the worst. But in all seriousness, Sarah is painting. If you felt like posting some of your art to our Storm Report, our little art review segment that we do at the end of every stream, I just know that people would love, love, love to see your work. For those of you who might not know what the Storm Report is, which I suppose it's possible there are some of you, we do a little sort of community art review at the end of every stream here at Thunderhead Studio. It is so super easy to participate in. All you have to do is jump into the Thunderhead Studio Discord, hop into the channel marked The Storm Report, and post a picture of what you'd like to share with us. It doesn't have to be miniature related, it can be anything artistic. We want to see what you're working on. And towards the end of the stream, starting at about 8:30 Mountain Standard Time, we'll go ahead and show it on the stream. And, if you'd like some feedback, we can do that. If you'd like some advice, I'll do what I can. If you'd just like to show it off and say, I am artist, hear me roar, we will. We will hear you roar. It's important, folks. It's important to share your art with the world, to get a better understanding of what it is you're bringing to the table. I've said it once, I'll say it another 1,000 times. We are our own worst critics, not just in the sense that we are uniquely harsh on ourselves, but in the sense that we're also uniquely unqualified to judge our own work. We know what we meant to do, and we know when what we did isn't exactly what we meant to do, but what we can't see oftentimes is the beauty in what we did by accident. And it is therein that you might find your style. So put it out there, let other people see it. Get opinions. Alright. Hey, what's up, Adrian Techno? Oop, don't spill the mineral spirits. I need a better cup for my mineral spirits, or just something with a wider base on it. I can put the cup in. I just realized I could 3D print that in like an hour. That's something. That's something. Maybe I'll do that after the stream tonight. Is just really quick whip myself up a little wide base thing for this little medicine cup that I use, and that way I could seat it down in there and not ever worry about spilling it. Wouldn't that be nice? Thank you for the reminder, Kaylee. Thank you, Data Nerd. Oh my god, Data Nerd. Data Nerd, Kursala, Riot Sister, Project Dark Fox, you unfucking believable people who make all of this possible. I have no words. I have no words for the amount of help that you are. I really don't. Anything that I say winds up feeling cheap. Oils are weird. Me want layer. Me can't layer. That is definitely the learning curve. You're tempted to do a lot of things that aren't gonna work. So this is that cheapo set. I picked these up. I can get these in sets of like $10 for 10, like literally $1 for a whole set of 10 brushes. And we used one of them last time. We used this filbert brush on our mounted squire, and it worked wonderfully. So I'm gonna try the rest of these out. For that price, I can afford to send a bunch of these out to prospective oil painters. Nothing should be reacting with PLA, Desert Owl. Linseed oil and cornstarch? I don't think so. Even white spirits and cornstarch, as far as I know, haven't had any reaction. And besides that, these are ultraviolet cured resin and not PLA. Yeah, I've actually, I kind of, unexpected, I kind of started to fall in love with the filbert style brush. Last time I was doing a lot of, I've just adapted this style of painting when I'm using oils, of painting with a flat brush and then kind of pulling away as I go. And I don't have to do that as much with this. With the filbert, I'm able to just do more straight strokes and it still gets that kind of effect because it's really focused in the middle. And then it has a natural fade towards the edges. Oh, for the thinner cup. Oh, yeah, no, that's a good point. You know what I'll do? I'll take some PLA, I'll pour some white spirits on it, you know? I'll huff it real deep, we'll see what happens. Alright, let me... thin down some of my indigo, put it on these weapons. Indigo and ivory black. Name a more iconic duo. And I'm trying to keep my palette simple for this. Ideally, the only thing I'll have to add are going to be some reds for the cockpit glass and maybe some blues and greens for the weapons, for like the lensing and such, but... For most of the mech, I shouldn't have to add much to my palette. That's my goal. Remember, your pre-glaze isn't the same as a base layer, is not the same as a base coat in acrylics. It's gonna affect what you put on top of it, but it's really just gonna kind of blend with what you put on top of it. It's more of a tinting color than anything else. So, you know, if you're putting down a pre-glaze, don't be super duper worried that you're stuck with that color or anything. With oil paints, I'm finding it's really easy to just change your mind in the middle and do something completely different. Really, really easy. And I'm only doing this because I would like the colors I work up on the weapons to just have more of a bluish tint to them. And not be warm in the depths, in the shadows. Dab a little bit in here too, just for good luck. Alright, did I miss anything on these guys? No. Oh! Let me just slam one of my models with the bottom of my painting handle. That's a great idea. I'm not bold enough to extend to say I'm going to paint 3 minis in one stream, so we're not going to do this guy yet, but I do have the kneeling open cockpit Battlemaster that I'd like to do at some point. I'm really very proud of how this one came out, with all the little details in the cockpit. There's a little control panel in there. There's 2 seats. You can see there's the one little rumble seat in the back. This came out nice. Alright, let's go ahead and deglaze. I'm gonna sneeze! Oh god, okay. Excuse me. Well, I was actually just about to do that, Kursala. I said, let's deglaze, but then I thought to myself, I should wait 1 or 2 minutes before I do that, just to give everything a real chance to stain. So I'm going to chop my sponge, and then we're going to go ahead and open that box and take a look at our Rainy River Design paints while the glaze does its work. And that also made me realize that I missed a small spot as I was looking. Let's stab that. Stab, 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 stab. Get that paint in there. Just going to make sure that's real dark, because I'm never putting the brush down in that little elbow crevice. Except for this one, obviously. One final check, make sure I didn't miss anything. Nah, doesn't seem like I did. No 3 minis in one stream? Weak. We can't all be Dr. Rhino. We have to have our USP, okay? Fucking Amazon. I just ordered this pair of scissors from Amazon Basics. 3 pairs of scissors. They're pretty nice, actually. They're reasonably high quality from the look of things. I ordered them, and they delivered them, and then the day that they arrived, it said, could not be delivered. But they were in the box. I was like, oh, that's odd. And I opened them, and I'm using them, and it just refunded me the money. So I'm like, okay. Whatever you say. Dude, Dr. Rhino, you're gonna love the Stream Deck. The Stream Deck is really great for a lot more than just streaming. You can implement the Stream Deck in your workflow for all kinds of software, and I suggest you try it. Where the hell did I put the box? I literally just had it. Let's just stop and think. Oh. There it is. I'm gonna go ahead and cut my address off of it so I don't accidentally flash anyone. Every now and then we learn lessons around here. It's not often, but every now and then. The Stream Deck was worth every penny. I've gotten so much use out of mine. They seem expensive until you realize that you can use them literally every single day. There. All better. Let's have a look at what we got in from Rainy River Designs. Well, no, your address is in the trash along with mine now. I took it off entirely so that I wouldn't accidentally do it at any point when I was flipping the box around. I feel like that's just a better policy. I learned that lesson by flashing my address and the screen of my phone and a number of other things at the camera in the early days of streaming. You were there for that. Schrodinger's scissors. They were both delivered and are undeliverable. We only collapsed the waveform and found out which one it was. I guess I'm supposed to open this over here. We only collapsed the waveform and determined which one it was. It's quantum certainty when I opened the box and started using them. Well, thank you so much for saying so, Merlin Models. Yeah, I'm a big fan of, you know, every now and then, folks, we have to take a moment and we have to accept some personal truths. Just in life. And I think the personal truth that I'm grappling with today is that I think I'm a bigger fan of Fang of the Sun Dugrum than I am of Battletech. Which is weird, because I'm a fan of Battletech, don't get me wrong, I love Battletech. I make terrain for Battletech, I play Battletech. I've been playing Battletech since I was a damn kid. But, I think I'm a bigger fan of Fang of the Sun Dugrum. I think I just like it better. Obviously, they're different things. There's no Fang of the Sun Dugrum game, or at least there's no game modern enough for me to bother playing it. There's some old board games, but I don't know. I just love those designs so much more than almost anything that they would follow on to do, and I definitely like them more than the new stuff. Maybe that's just me. My god, look at all those. I didn't realize this was literally packed completely full of paints. There's no packing material. The packing material is just more paint. Oh my god. Holy moly, let's see what we got. Is there... so I have to ask. Kursala Data Nerd, is there a reason you didn't just call your black paint black? Is there a reason for that? Because our black paint here is titled Lights Out. Which is... I mean, okay. That's fine. But you could have just called it black. It's because you use lamp black, so lights out. Okay. So your standard black is a cool black, is what you're saying. Let me sort these out here. We've got some oil spill model stain. That's going to be our black wash. We've got some burning skull here. A number of these are going to be going into our outgoing Home for Wayward Paints packages. We've got our greasy gears. Moonflower, which I understand is your white, so let's put that over there. Topaz, and these yellow ones, these are the overlays, so these are like a glaze. Ooh. Lava flow. So the stains are like washes? Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Ooh, they're nice and fluid. Hey, what's up, Skella Egg? How you doing tonight? We got some lava flow. Ooh. I like that. That's a nice Sort of warm brown orange there. Icy Depths. Lava, or not lava, Model Stain. More lights out. Thank you so much for the black and the white. That is going to make my job so much easier. I ran out of those so fast. I don't know, I don't buy or have... Black and white paint is funny in that you don't really wind up with a lot extra. You tend to use what you have, unlike a lot of the other random paints. Could we get a shout out, by the way? Oh, we already did. I don't even need to ask, because my mod team's so on top of it. Stains or washes, overlays, or glazes. That's what I thought. Olive oil model stain. Oof, that is bright. That's interesting. Rusting clay pan model stain. Well, now I'm gonna have to test the difference between lava flow and rusting clay pan. They seem very similar on the outside. They seem very similar on the back. I guess this one is redder and this one's more brown. I'll have to do a side-by-side of these. Making steak for dinner? Oh, shit. Well, that's just the mark of a day gone right, isn't it? Oh, I'm getting along. Thank you so much for asking. Got some caustic ooze model stain. Jade. Well-named. Well-named Jade. And that's an overlay. And it should be noted that these are all color-coded by the cap, so your overlays are green, your stains are white, your paints are blue. Which actually works out pretty well for if you're using a paint organization system like the one I have on the wall here, where the caps face out towards you. More olive oil, excellent. We got some mud model stain. We have some onyx overlay. Ooh. Intriguing. Shimmering lancet model stain. Ooh, that's a nice... like a hawk turquoise, isn't it? I like that. Let's see, some more rusting clay pan. We're gonna have to try that out. And a little bit more mud. My name is Mud. And see, this is... this is... like, to make the point Sarah is painting, this is kind of how it goes with brands of acrylics for model painting. What the... who just fuck... what? Primus sucks! What the hell? Get... Somebody get PDF out of here. PDF needs to calm down. Primus sucks. What the hell's going on here? Oh. Oh my god. No, you're right. It's been about 10 years since I've listened to Primus on a regular basis. And you're absolutely correct. I'm not. I'm a poser. I'm a disgusting poser. Let's have a look here, though. Let's compare some greens, shall we? Let's just grab a couple of brands of green and see what kind of colors we're dealing with. We got some cat's eye green. We have olive gray, which is also a green. We've got flat green. I like that. That's a nice name. We got sick green. These are both from the same people, and the colors are really just in... the only difference is really in value. We've got wilderness green. We've got dragon green. We've got... heavy black green. This is at least descriptive. I like that. What else have we got? Let's see. Here we have from Scale Color 75. Misfits green. How helpful. Black green. Again, at least it's descriptive. That's something. I appreciate that. I could probably mix that myself. We have some Scale 75. Hellbound Flesh. Also green. Let's keep going for a second here. Naga green. Okay, yeah, sure, why not? Goblin green. A classic. Now this one isn't this isn't the actual original Goblin green, which is well known as being from Games Workshop and Citadel Paint. This is Army Painter Warpaint's imitation Goblin green. God bless them for doing that. We got some moth green, which is really more of a nice, vibrant yellow green. What that has to do with moths, I have no fucking idea. We've got, there's some dungeon slime, which is, as far as I can tell, the same damn color. Little desaturated, I suppose. And that's just our greens. Hang on, we got one more here. What is this? Arfin Jade. I think that scale 75 may be among the worst of these. Is there one just called green? Oh god, no. That's not how this goes. I think the closest we have is acrylic, or rather Vallejo's model color flat green. That's something. But yeah, of these paints that I have up on the walls, some of the most esoteric names are going to come from Scale 75. Because as you see, this is an acrylic paint line that is specifically formulated for model painting, and specifically for fantasy model painting. So all their names are just nonsense, like Misfits Green and what. I've got another one in here that's real goofy. Bloodfest Crimson. Ooh. Of course, that's almost identical to, but won't be named the same as Red Leather, which I don't know why this is Red Leather specifically. I don't think I've ever used it for that purpose. I do have too many paints. I genuinely do. Speaking of having paints, though, I'm trying to refine.
99 bottles of paint on the wall, 99 bottles of paint. Take one down, shake it around. 150 bottles of paint on the wall.
I'm trying to refine it down to using mostly Rainy River designs, since these are quite nice paints and they're being made by our very own Kursala and Data Nerd. And thank you so much for all of these, Kursala. A number of these are going to go into our Home for Wayward Paints packages, specifically the blacks and the whites. No such thing as a toolbox of too many tools at the Amish Stig. I promise you there is. There is such a thing. Why can't I hold all these paints? Alright, give me a second. I gotta do something with them now. And by do something, I mean gather them up and throw them on my other desk. The endless toolbox that you should fill with as many tools as possible that I refer to, that's more of a metaphorical one. Oh, I didn't even get into the Pro Acryl, but Pro Acryl, I appreciate that Pro Acryl's names tend to be pretty simple, like turquoise. It's fine. What else we got? Bright pale green. It's literally just the description of the color. There is literally nothing wrong with the esoteric names for paints. I actually kind of like a lot of the ones that Kursala's come up with. The only problem arises when you're using multiple brands, and the fact that there are as many brands as there are. Alright, let's deglaze our mechs here a little bit, shall we? I feel like my camera is really... It's aimed really far this way for some reason. Let me see if I can't fix that real quick. Hang on. I'm having to be really close to the edge of my desk to get a good angle, and I don't want that to be true. Let's tilt ourselves in. There we go. There we go. Why didn't I just put them back in the box? Why don't you mind your business? Because I destroyed the box in opening. Because of a lack of attention to detail. That's why. Inattentiveness, over-eagerness, and a broad lack of wisdom and forethought. Is that what you want to hear? Ooh, I am really starting to appreciate Van Dyke Brown for how well it stains. I have struggled in a few cases to find a good warm stain for this step, but the Van Dyke does a great job. Hey, good to see you, Journeyman Paint Hour. How you doing today, man? Ooh, I got a little misprinted globule on his leg there. Ah, who gives a shit? So yes, Sarah is painting. Welcome to the dark corners of the world that are the wargaming miniature enthusiasts realm. Everything is very particular and kind of obtuse around these parts. There is a whole realm of backstory for literally everything, but the good news is none of us will ever judge you for not knowing it. We're only excited that people might give a shit about our hobbies. Because we existed for decades in a realm where none of us were cool and we weren't allowed to be considered cool under any circumstances, but now for the first time, through the magic of the internet, we're kind of cool. Needs more purple, what's up? How you doing, Zombie Bro Studios? I mean, we're still not cool, we're just regarded as kind of cool. It's a makeup sponge. It's just a little makeup sponge like you probably have many of, Skella Egg. And those antennas do make painting this part tricky, don't they? Cut it up into little pieces, and I use my little tweezers to hold on to it, and I come in and I just remove the bulk of the paint. I'm just trying to leave a very, very thin layer of oil and a stain behind. Here's to the nerds inheriting the Earth. We should be so fucking lucky. Actually, we kind of have, in a weird way. If you need any clear sign that the nerds have inherited the Earth, just always look to marketing trends. Look what the people who want to make money are doing. And right now, what the people who want to make money are doing is pandering as hard as they can to, like, Star Wars and Marvel fans. I don't know. I don't know if the nerds have inherited the Earth or if all the cool kids just stole our fucking toys. It's one of the two. I guess the real truth is that the marketing firms have inherited the Earth. Disney has inherited the Earth. Even that's not accurate. Disney has purchased the Earth. Money has... Yeah, that's probably the best way of putting it. Money has inherited the Earth. But I think that happened a long time ago, and we're only just now becoming as aware of it as we should be. Alright, I think that's most everything. I don't want to miss any big globs of paint that I'm going to encounter as a bomb later on. Should leave some nice, deep, dark, warm areas. Oh, hold on, I'm going to get up here. Just make sure I get the globules off. Alright, next one. Grand opening tomorrow. Ooh, that's fucking exciting, Zombie Brush. You know, I agree with you. I agree with you, Automat, and I have to tell you, man, I really try. I really try never to fall into the category of gatekeeping. Because gatekeeping, particularly as it concerns like hobbies and nerd shit, it's very real. There are definitely some people out there who engage in what we think of as gatekeeping, where they're just like bitter that they're not being rewarded for being fans of things. But I think that while that is a toxic behavior, and while I think that newcomers to the hobby should be welcomed in, it's rooted in a very real phenomenon, and I don't think it should be completely ignored either. A lot of the worst gatekeepers out there, the problem isn't that they're gatekeeping, the problem is that they're kind of just assholes on top of it, and, you know, it doesn't really matter what you're doing if you're an asshole. Somehow you're always going to make it shitty and about you. And I think that that's true of a lot of the people that we think of as the worst, but at the same time, I sympathize sometimes with the gatekeeping instinct. I do. When it comes to things like fucking... I was gonna say Star Wars, but I don't even feel that way about Star Wars anymore. It's way past that with Star Wars. Star Wars is just no longer the property that I was a fan of back then, so, you know, whatever, who gives a shit. It happens with 40K, though. It happens with all the nerdy fandoms. It happened with Doctor Who. I think people forget sometimes that Doctor Who was not always as popular as it is now, or, I mean, it's not even as popular now as it was like 5-10 years ago. You get the people who are like, oh, Tom Baker is my doctor. Derby, 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 doo. Of course Twitch has gatekeeping. I gatekeep you all the time on Twitch, Skellabee. Fucking newcomer. Pay your dues. Pay tribute to the originals. Oh, fucking no. No, that's nonsense. Neil. I don't know. I don't really have a point. I'm just saying, like, I have found myself slipping into that mindset at times. Particularly as far as the really, really popular hobbies go. Like you said, like I was saying, Automat Americana, like the cool kids stole all our nerd toys. I'm just saying, when I was growing up, being really, really into Star Wars would get you fucking, like, made fun of and given a wedgie and stuffed in your locker. And on some level, a lot of us do feel like we paid some dues to be fans of these things. And now you can just be a big fan of anything that you want. And it's great. Like, it's magical. I think part of the bitterness is that we look at it and we're like, I sure wish that everyone had accepted me like this when I was a kid. And I don't know what the answer is to deal with the lingering hurt. I know that it's not making newcomers feel bad. I think that's just a common human problem, though. We've seen that in a lot of places in recent years. A lot of people have this attitude of like, well, I suffered when I was young, and even though things are better today, you should have to suffer too because I did. And that's just, it's not a good or even a defensible position. Hey, what's up, Alara Kerensky? How you doing? Ever since Capaldi. You know, I've never watched Peter Capaldi as the Doctor. I haven't seen any of his episodes. I kind of quit watching after David Tennant, not out of any sort of protest, I just kind of lost interest. I was a big fan of Chris Eccleston for the one season that he did back in 2000. Well, Peter Capaldi's a great actor. I quite liked him in Peep Show, but nobody ever talks about Peep Show. See, there I go again. There I go again. Hipstering and gatekeeping.
I was a fan of Peter Capaldi when he did Peep Show, not like you who only discovered him when he became the Doctor. And by the way, let's talk about Tom Baker.
We could talk about Tom Baker, though. The guy was an fucking amazing actor, an amazing voice actor. You know, that's been his voice almost every single time you hear in a video game the phrase, "In the grim darkness of the far future, there is only war." That's almost always Tom Baker, which is pretty cool. How dare you try to make me a more positive influence, Riot Sister? How dare... I feel suppressed. Okay. Ooh, Lair of the White Worm. Good one. Lair of the White Worm is really something. Man, oh man. Okay, what the hell am I doing? I think we're going to try some Payne's Gray. I might not do the same thing on each and every one of these models, by the way. We might be kind of mixing it up and trying new things. Kind of the idea of doing two of them is I'm not sure exactly how I want to approach this. So we're going to try some Payne's Gray. I'm going to try just a touch of indigo in there. Not a lot, just a touch of indigo with some Payne's Gray. Should give it some more body, which is what I want it to have. And let's lean it out just a little bit. Hey, what's up, Matt Yee? How you doing today, man? Can we get a shout out for the ever-talented Mr. Yee? Most of you in here are probably following him already. But if you're not, who hurt you? It's my question. Who hurt you? Oh, that needs to be a little more neutral. Let's get some ivory black in there. Do not want the indigo to dominate too much on this first pass. Alright, let's just start darkening things up, shall we? And leaving the deep spots nice and warm. I really haven't watched any, like literally no episodes of Capaldi's Doctor Who. I probably should. Actually, what does that mean? What does that mean when I say that? I probably should watch a show. What should is there? It's only a question of if I want to or not, so I guess I should clarify. I would like to watch some of Peter Capaldi's Doctor Who. I just haven't really found the time or the immediate desire to. I finished watching The Legend of Vox Machina, which was pretty good. It was pretty good. Again, as someone who didn't watch the original campaign via Critical Role, I found it to be a lot of fun. There are a lot of things in it that make you think as you're watching it, oh, this is definitely a D&D campaign. But again, I don't think that that's anything wrong with it. That's both true and kind of a strength as far as giving it a USP. Why am I so out of focus? There we go. So, yeah, confession time as far as what I do and don't like about that format. is it suffers from the kind of annoying truths that always accompany D&D campaigns, which is characters like Scanlan and Grog, who I don't find interesting. I don't. I get it. He's the slutty bard. It's funny. I get it. He's the big barbarian, and he loves booze, and he gets sad when there isn't any. Boo, boo, boo. Like, oh my god, really? I fucking hate it when people do that in actual D&D campaigns, because it's just so... It lacks for any fucking imagination, but it happens every single time. Every campaign I've ever been in has had somebody doing those tropes, and it's just like, god damn it. Scanlan's little songs were maybe the things that pulled me out of the show the most. Like, ugh. At least the one that he did as a distraction they kept cutting away from, so I didn't actually have to watch it. I mean, I get that the whole thing was supposed to be funny, and it was on tone, but it just wasn't funny, I guess. Whereas the whole storyline with, oh shit, what's his name? Why can't I think of the character's name now? I was literally just watching this last night. The guy who's possessed by the Demon of Vengeance. That whole storyline was really interesting, and I liked it. Oh, crap. His name is right on the tip of my tongue, and I can't think of it. Well, that makes sense then, Datron Voltari. Worst race, most annoying class. Yeah, that played out pretty well. Percy, thank you. Yeah, Percival. Percival de Rollo. That whole storyline was phenomenal. I'm glad that it was the focus of the season, and clearly the focus of an extended part of the campaign. I suspect that Dr. Ripley is a recurring villain based on the way that she was played and how she escapes at the end. I mean, I think they came out and just said that at a certain point. They're like, I suspect that we'll see her again. I'm like, oh, okay. I get it. Well, Automat, I would say that the character of Percy is probably less interesting than the overall story arc of Percy. It's not a complex story arc in the context of, like, you know, writing a show for, like, syndication, but it works really well for a D&D character. As I'm watching Percival, I'm not thinking, this is a fascinating character I'd love to read a whole book about. What I'm thinking is, this would make for a compelling session of D&D, which is what it was, ultimately. Your stories can't be that complex in Dungeons and Dragons because they have to interface with other characters, and they have to go somewhere in a reasonable period of time, and they have to conform to a set of common rules. You know? All right. Now, for this first one, I'm gonna lean pretty blue, and we're gonna see how it goes. I'm gonna take some indigo here, and I'm gonna take some titanium white. There we go. And just a dabble do ya of some solvent there. Lean this paint up a little bit. And we're gonna try applying this in a real broad way. Well, I mean, I enjoy anime, so that makes sense. That's not even true. I don't really enjoy that many anime. I enjoy very particular ones. Over there. Yeah, have to allow for the... That's one of the hardest things about... Because, over the course of my life, I have gotten to play D&D, honestly, as a player, a handful of times. I'm a perpetual DM. I'm sure though there are those of you out there who sympathize with my plight. And yeah, when you're writing a campaign One of the things you definitely don't want to be is a railroader of a DM. You don't want to be that DM who's like, this is the story I'm telling and you will get on board or else. That shit is boring. You want to present the players with options, and you don't want to flesh, like, some main options to lean them in the direction of. It can be fine, but you don't want to force them into anything. And part of the reason that Critical Role works as well as it does is that that particular group of players are relatively professional, and they've all worked with one another for a long time, they all know each other well, and none of them are actively trying to derail what Matt Mercer's doing. And if you have a cooperative team, you can create a much more... Ooh, that's coming out nice, actually. You can create a much more in-depth sort of carnival ride to lead them on. But if you've got just a random group of players and you don't know how they're going to behave, you don't want to flesh out any one thing too much, lest they go in a completely different direction. You want to have more of a roadmap with brief ideas, an outline, if you will. Like, if it were a speech you were giving, it would be an outline of directions you potentially could take things in if the players want to do those things. You can plan out some events, sure, but you have to be adaptable. And as a result of that, a lot of D&D campaigns wind up a little bit generic. Not the most deep story, because you can't be. But yeah, if you've got a team of cooperative players who know their DM, who know each other, who work together well, that's when you wind up with really, really neat campaigns. If you ever want a campaign here, let me know. I don't even know. At this point, like, I think I'm too traumatized by being a lifelong DM. I don't know that I can play Dungeons and Dragons. I sit down as a player and I'm just gonna be metagaming my way through the whole thing without being able to help it, because that's how my brain approaches it. I'm always thinking from the DM's perspective. I don't know if that's true. I genuinely haven't gotten to sit. The last RPG I got to sit down and play was Warhammer 40k Dark Heresy the week that it released. Go ahead and Google that if you want to know how long ago that was. It was a long time. I'm pulled in a lot of directions right now, so finding time for all the shit that I want to do is a complex endeavor, but I still do want to get back to Cyberpunk Red. I have a seed for a campaign for Cyberpunk Red that I think is fucking brilliant. I'm sure the players will find many interesting and fun ways to completely destroy it right in front of me and make me cry, but I think it could be really, really cool. Finding the time to do it, that is the trick. I barely have enough time to do all the things I need to. Dr. Rhino, I would fucking love to have you in on. What I'd really like to do is get together because we've got a few people who played with us last time that I would like to bring back, who were a lot of fun, and we have some people who had to drop out or aren't interested in playing anymore, so I'm definitely, I'd have to put together a fresh party. And I would love, particularly for streaming games, to put together a game being played largely by streamers. And that's not necessarily showing preferential treatment as much as with a streamer, they're comfortable on camera, they've got a good microphone, they know how to not talk over other people. Like, they have a set of skills that would be really, really helpful for live streamed gaming. And they tend to have a very outgoing personality that is also particularly helpful for something that, because, playing in your garage is one thing, playing live in front of people, that's something entirely different. Oh, Merlin Models, thank you for the reminder. In all seriousness, though, not that I wasn't being serious before, I would love to get into a game, any role-playing game, where I get to just play a fucking character. Dr. Rhino, if that's something you want to pursue, playing in a game with me as the DM or having me in a game that you are DMing, like, let's talk, because it's been so long. It's been so long for me. And if we could find a way to get some more Cyberpunk Red going, I would love to stream it. I actually had a blast the 2 sessions that we did last year. Alright, well the Greys are coming in pretty decent over this thing. Let's keep it going. And we're just gonna do a little bit of Payne's Gray and some Titanium White. I probably don't need to do it in this many kind of layers, but I'm just trying to brighten up the overall paint job slowly here. And we're being very experimental. We're doing fat over lean, so I'm really not thinning this much or at all. This white is almost straight out of the tube. And darkened with just a touch of Payne's Gray. Figure that leaves me a little bit of room to come in with a pure titanium white for some highlights. Yeah, I don't want it, actually, I don't want it even that thick. Let's just do a touch of thinner. Always wanted to try Cyberpunk Red. It's a good game. I like the Cyberpunk Red system. And I'd be happy to run it. I'm gonna need a little bit of assistance from Chaotic Harmony to do what I want, but I've already talked to him about it and he's willing to give it, so he would not be playing in it, but he would have a role in it. Or rather, his voice would. In a storyline loosely inspired by the Christian Slater classic Pump Up the Volume. We're loosely talking about that now, Roland. Loosely. Okay. So I'm really liking how this is coming out so far. You see this on this side of the body? This shoulder actually doesn't look all that great. Let me... But I mean, like... This is a pretty good warm to cool gray. And this is like brainless. And that's really what I'm trying to do, is not necessarily achieve super high quality, mega involved paint jobs, but just see how mindless I can be and still get good paint jobs done. Base you used to paint is printed in 3D. It is. Yeah, this is my design, Adrian. You can tell because I put my logo on it like I do in literally everything. It's available for free on Thingiverse if you want to print it out. It's entirely magnetic. This paint job I've done here so far is... I haven't done anything that is functionally more complex than a quick dry brush. And it has, to my eye, some kind of interesting color variation to it and some nice, smooth transitions. Well, you know Dr. Rhino. You know Dr. Rhino. Playing a quiet character. Oh, hey, Happy Heretic. Good to see you, by the way. Meaning to get Cyberpunk myself. Never played it, but I've run Shadowrun since high school. Be a good thing to compare and contrast between the two for your YouTube channel. Cyberpunk Red's a pretty good system. I actually like how it's put together. But the thing about playing a quiet character, Dr. Rhino, is you as the player don't have to be quiet. So if you're good at being descriptive about your physical actions, you can play a character who doesn't say much. Whose life is filled with pregnant pauses. I got some wicked print lines on this pauldron, but whatever, who cares? Alright, now let's try coming back at this with some titanium white, basically straight out of the tube. Wait, hold on. Do a little bit more of this here. I just realized I wanted to brighten this up. His little mohawk, which I hadn't really touched. Maybe the front of this shoulder a bit. It could use some lightening up. It doesn't need to be that dark. Maybe the front of this thigh, not a lot. I want that to be in heavy shadow, but I want it to still be the right temperature, at least. Inside of the foot here, I kind of missed. Doesn't matter too much. I'm going to play a medic, the ones from the first mission of Cyberpunk 2070. Yes. X-Trauma Team is a common background for a whole party, really. Dr. Rhino, like, if you want to shop some ideas for a character, like, if y'all want to motivate me to really get this going, that is something that could absolutely help me out, man. Giving me some ideas for how you want your characters to be. I could start integrating that with what I've already got, and maybe we can get this off the ground. I would love to. I really would. Just a touch of indigo in this white. That's all I want. I mean, really, almost none. There we go. Hey, Joy of Painting Minis, welcome in. Discovered something very important. Need to watch where I wipe my brush and my paper towel, because that blue oil will absolutely get back on my brush and slow you to turn your white blue. Yes. Yeah. You have to stop thinking about the colors as being separate for the most part, Ion Raptor, because they're not going to stay that way, ever. They're going to get muddy. They're going to get muddy the longer you work. There's kind of no avoiding it. You can only counteract it and sort of learn to work with it. Just be aware of it so that it doesn't happen when you're not expecting it. You see that? I'm just touching these corners with titanium white with a touch of indigo. Getting that sort of edge highlight. And don't be afraid of not getting your blends perfect on the first pass either. You can leave it and just come back with a blending brush and do it manually. Won't hurt nothing. It's like I'm going to leave that chunk of white there and come back and ease it out in a bit. Particularly with titanium white, that's going to happen, though. It's very, very difficult to keep your whites white without a lot of brush swapping. At the same time, you kind of never want to have pure titanium white going down anyway. I would say a good trick that I've kind of picked up, that I'm still trying to apply, Ion Raptor, is, like, never ever try to go all the way to titanium white. Always leave yourself somewhere to go as far as that value goes. Back 40 Gamer, thank you so much for the follow. Welcome to the stream, my friend. See, like right here, that sort of slash of white, I'm really just kind of putting white where I want it broadly to be. I'll come in and blend that out later. It doesn't need to be perfect. Hey, what's up, Gus Schultz? How you doing today, man? Wait, did I already say hi to you? My brain is mush. I'm sorry. If I said hi, you know what? I don't care. Hi twice, Gus Schultz. You the man. This is... I'm so glad that I've been practicing with these and then came back to mechs, because this is actually really, really fucking easy, and I'm kind of liking how it's looking. The coveted double hello. It happens so rarely. Oh, does it, Adrian? Does it? I wonder, perchance, Adrian Techno, if you frequented, formerly Tabletop, then Court of Gamers, or perhaps Night Watch Games. I wonder. Is it possible? This little bit of a wipe and pick up a little bit more titanium white, because mine's gotten pretty muddy. Speaking of mechs, bought the beginner's box and a Lance of Mechs the other day. First Battletech stuff I bought since I was a kid. As much as I will periodically complain about Catalyst, there's such esoteric and particular... Have I been using that word a lot today? I feel like I have. They're such narrow and I'll say myopic complaints. The fact is, there has never been a better time to get into Battletech than right now. There's never been a better time to come back to Battletech than right now, and that is largely thanks to them and their new line of models. They are nice, and I hope you enjoy them. The printing on the back of this Battlemaster is messy, but oh well. The only Battletech I've ever played was the RPG. Was pretty fun. That was 15 years ago? Oh god, I hate that feeling. I remember doing this thing back at... How long ago was it? Oh, that was 30 years! Oh, no. That's the worst. Thought I'm painting him using schemes from the Red Baron and his flying circus. Ooh, that's pretty exciting. I look forward to seeing how those come out. Alright, let's ease up for now on the grays, because... Alright, stream. Assessment of our Grey Death Legion Gray here. As far as this being, well, hang on. Let me real quick do one thing, and that's just give a real soft blend out to some of our blocks of color here that shouldn't be there. Just blend that real softly there. Blend it real softly here. Keep it towards the top of the thigh. Yeah. How do we feel? Oh, wait. I missed another spot. Well, while I do this, how about that? How do we feel about this gray? It's pretty easy. It's pretty easy to do. I like that the choice of glaze has resulted in all of these shadows having a nice warm tint to them. Because this is dead-ass simple. This is, I mean, how long have I been going? 7:30. I went on at 5:30, probably started at 6, so I've been working on this for, what, hour, 20 minutes? How you doing, Lady B Miniatures? It's good to see you, and thank you for the reminder. Alright, now we can start working on some of the details. I want some permanent alizarin crimson, because I'm going to do a real vibrant red for the cockpit, is what I'm thinking. Since the rest of the scheme is so dull, let's do a real vibrant red for the cockpit. The nice thing is, like, because I'm testing... Let's see, this is where we started, by the way. This was the glaze, and this is where we got, for reference. And all by doing nothing more complicated than a quick dry brush. A really sloppy dry brush at that. Alright, let's use some of our new cheapo brushes and see how they do, shall we? I wanna thin this down since I'm gonna be blending over top of it. I guess I could do the struts first, but I think I'm gonna leave those for the moment. Do alizarin crimson. I'm gonna take just a touch of my ivory black. I've been using ivory black more and more as just an additive for what is functionally a base coat. But you can see how that's still very, very red. Can you see that on the palette camera? That's still very, very red. Grab a little bit more alizarin crimson to punch it up, but it is hard to dull the alizarin. I want it nice and dark, though. I'm doing very well, Lady B. Thank you for asking. You know, honestly, I can be having kind of a crappy day, and once I start streaming, I just feel better. It peps me right up. Alright, let's grab some of this. Come in on our bubble cockpit. I'm not going to do like a complex effect or anything on this. I'm going to lean mostly on just doing a nice blend across the cockpit into a real vibrant red. That's my plan. I'm not going to do crazy lensing effects or anything like that. Just keeping it simple. Kaylee. Alizarin Crimson has been one of my better purchases. I really like this as a dark red. It's powerful. Make sure we're not putting too much on and that it's not too thick here. There we go. There's our base. Bought a couple minis just because I thought they'd be fun to paint. Not because you wanted to start a whole new army and had to commit to it right away and buy the latest deal from Games Workshop? My god, Shock21, is that allowed? I mean, ideally, this is why we should do all of our models. More and more, I'm trying to paint armies because I want to paint the models that are in it. I'm not saying I always succeed, but more and more I am trying. I think that's important. I've got permanent rows here. And I am trying to move away from my cadmiums, but I'm going to compare that a little bit to my cadmium red hue. Yeah, the cadmium red hue is going to be the answer. It's just brighter. Maybe I should have leapt right to Scarlet. I'm not sure. I'm trying to use up my cadmium red hue is what this comes down to. I've got a whole tube of it, and I don't really want it. I'd rather get myself a proper toxic cadmium red. But we're going to use it. We're going to use it. I don't want to throw it away. Just gonna kind of block this in broadly where I want it to go. Not in specifically, like, you know, generally in the shape that I want, but with some space around the edges to blend out. You know, that might not be a terrible idea, actually, is put it in our Home for Wayward Paints oil stock. It might be good for that just because I would hate to send anybody anything toxic in a starter set. You should probably start with things like cadmium red hues, and then once you decide you want something more vibrant, then make the decision to go up to toxic paints. That may be what we end up doing. Alright, let's use this funny little fucked up flat brush I'm thinking is a blend. God, what is wrong with this one? Just come out bad? This flat brush is all jacked. It's got like glue on it or something. I guess you get what you pay for. This is better. For external use only. Do not use as toothpaste. And let's just blend this out real soft, real easy. We're gonna do more than this, but I'm just starting slow. I'd rather have somewhere to go than have to dial it back. Ooh, that's real subtle. Yeah, in this case, in the case of oil paints, and some acrylics, Romeo Void, it would be the pigments. In the case of cadmium red, it would be the cadmium that's in it. It is a highly, highly toxic substance. There are a number of pigments used in traditional paints and oil paints that are toxic to the touch. Certainly for consumption. Do not eat your paints. Do not lick your brushes when you're painting with oils. I could go heavier on this probably, but I haven't done this red blend before, so we're taking it slow and seeing where we wind up. I'm just kind of grabbing this red and pulling it out into the dark alizarin crimson. I think we can... Let's go heavier. Let's go heavier with the cadmium red. Shape it a little bit more off to one side to give it the impression of glass. These can be pretty broad. I gotta remind myself I can go higher than this. I should go higher than this. I will go higher than this so I can be more aggressive with the cadmium red. We're just, you know, one step at a time. Like I said, I would rather have to punch it up than have to dial it back. But with oils, it's really not even hard to do that. Oh, absolutely, Dr. Rhino. You have a fantastic evening, dude. Thanks for hanging out. It's always a pleasure to see you in chat. Grabbing that red paint and just pulling it out. Pulling it away from the center. Alright, let's try touching it up with a little bit of cadmium scarlet hue. And might be I should have just started with Scarlet, but I'm not sure. So we're gonna try it probably both ways. On the other one I might just jump right to Scarlet. And then I'm probably gonna lighten this as a final touch with a bit of Naples yellow. Not a lot of it, just a little bit. Just a touch of center. There we go. I'm on the big screen. Oh god, Cookie Mama. Oh no, why would such a thing ever happen? Yeah, I think just jumping right to Cadmium Scarlet's going to be the answer. And this is, you know, this is what Iron Raptor was talking about earlier. I'm still, part of me is in the acrylic layering mindset, and you think, okay, I don't just want to jump right to this color. I want to layer it up. I want to blend it in. I want to make sure that we're having a nice, easy progression to it. But with oil paints, like, the blending part is going to happen because of how oil paints work, period. You don't have to layer. And at least now when I'm doing it by mistake, I find myself thinking, I probably shouldn't be doing this. And I'm right. Some layering can work, but it's not in the same sense that you do it with acrylics. It just isn't. Hey, yo, what is up, Vergatarung? How you doing today, man? Pull out this Scarlet. I might have put on a bit much here. Something Wapple is always saying. Less is more and more is way too much. You really want to use as little actual paint as possible. I still have a tendency to overload my brush. Just pick that up from acrylics. Everybody's all about that Elden Ring. Am I the only person who never, ever got into Dark Souls? That game kicked my ass enough that I was just like, pass. I'm such a fucking lightweight casual. I'm not mistaken, am I? Elden Ring is basically just another Dark Souls? Oh god, yes, Data Nerd. If there are still any slots left, I absolutely would love to sit on something James Wapple was doing. That man is the messiah of oil painting minis. That's smart, brush licker. I like my dignity, which is why I haven't. I think there's something to the kind of the dual blend there of the cadmium red and the cadmium scarlet. That is a nice transition from the dark alizarin up to the crimson. Alright. So from there, I'm going to take a flying leap up to Naples yellow. Is that why I haven't finished the Surge? Oh my god, I feel so fucking called out right now. Maybe. Actually, I was enjoying the Surge. It was literally the first game I ever streamed. I think that was the first stream I ever did, right? We streamed some of the Surge on Facebook. It's the only stream I did on Facebook. I quite like Naples yellow. This is a very, very helpful color for highlighting worms like reds. Gonna draw a little T here. I think I'll do the same back here. Yikes. Yikes to square. Just yikes, bro.
When watching Thunderhead's stream, you may feel the urge to do the cha-cha, because he likes to slide it to the left, and then slide it to the right, and then hold it off screen entirely. Come on, Thunderhead, put it back on camera.
So this is winding up being about my sweet spot, and I moved my camera back. So let's readjust and see if we can't get that center frame. I rearranged my camera recently, so it's not surprising that there need to be adjustments made. Let's try right there. Tighten that down. So my sweet spot's about... That's still pretty far down. Maybe I was doing it wrong in the first place. Hang on. Try right there. Tighten it up. Oh, don't settle. Don't settle. Tighten. There we go. Good? You good, camera? My sweet spot's right about... Yep, that's good. It's better. I should pull it off the camera less now. And let me know. Another of the advantages of oil painting specifically for streamers. I was able to just drop what I was doing and completely do something else, and I'll pick it back up.
There's something about mech paint jobs that really just brings a tear to my eye, and sometimes a tightness to my pants. This stream has a lot of the latter.
Now, I can still come in and very softly blend it out, because this paint won't be dry for a good 48 hours. If you were blending in acrylics, you'd have to finish it before you could do literally anything else. Now, I'm really just sort of touching I'm not really drawing my brush or doing any motion with it. I'm just bringing it down and sort of smooshing the paint together here. Just a little smoosh. I think we could go heavier. I think we can go a little bit heavier with our fresh out of the tube Naples yellow. I think these brushes are fine to start with, by the way. I'm not having any problem. They're not like the greatest brushes ever. Their tips are a little funny. I wouldn't use these for acrylics in a million years, but for oils, this is fine.
You know, I suppose you could just go ahead and glorb that paint on anywhere.
I can.
It's not like we're trying to get inside the lines or anything.
I can and I will. Still pulling it off screen a little bit. I'll play with my camera some. I'm not used to having it as high as it is right now. My camera has been in the same position for like a year, and as of last stream, that's the first time I've actually changed it, so... we'll fool with it, see if we can't land on something we like. Yeah, that's working. So now what I want to do is I would like to go ahead and come at the weapons. And I would like to come at them with some of my indigo. Use one of my... Do I have small flats in this set? Unfortunately, this one set that I unwrapped has a small flat in it that kind of sucks. I don't know what happened to it. Seems like it was a bad job at the factory. In fact, it definitely was, because I just pulled it right out of... Okay, so you do get what you pay for with these cheap brushes sometimes. Most of them are fine. That one was clearly a defective brush. It's like the glue went on the wrong end when they crimped it or something. I'll use... this guy. This should be just fine. No, that's too dark for what I want to do here. I want to just thin down some of my indigo. Give it a touch of titanium white to start to bring it up, but I want it to be quite blue and not too desaturated. Maybe even bluer. Maybe even bluer. Maybe we'll bring some cobalt blue into the mix. Oh, we could do French ultramarine. I don't use French ultramarine for much. Let's do some French ultramarine. Don't need much. Just a dabble do you. Woo! Yeah, that got blue real fast, didn't it? That's what I'm looking for. Little thinner. Not much, just a little thinner. Little leaner, if you will. Better to think of it as leaner rather than thinner, because it can be thinner while being fattier. But you very specifically, in this case, I want it to be leaner. Dabble do ya? What's up, Dware Wildstar? How you doing, man? Bring these cooler colors into play on the weapons. I could do something fun with this little exhaust thing here. Let me think about that. That'll probably be the last thing I do, but I could do like a glow effect on the weapon exhaust. That might be neat. You can see this is differentiating it from the base gray I have, which has a lot of cool tones to it, but it still has a warm shadow. And the gray overall is tinted sort of warm. Whereas this is going to be much cooler overall since I glazed it with my indigo. Oh, I'm glad you're back. Working for the weekend. Is it weird that I can't even remotely hear the name of that song without thinking of specifically the montage from Zoolander? It seems odd to me. It's been used many, many places over the course of its existence, and the one that I think of is in fucking Zoolander. I wonder what that says about me. Well, thank you for confirming, Shock. I appreciate that. I'm gonna mash this down into the elbow joints too, because I'd like them to have a little temperature differential. And the medium lasers should get this treatment as well. Yeah, I would say these brushes I'm using, they're not great. They're good enough. You can oil paint with these, as long as you don't get a set that's genuinely completely defective like that one I got was, which sucks. But as far as sending out free sets of paints and brushes, I would feel okay sending these out. Because it's not expensive to upgrade, but this will get you started. You absolutely can do paint jobs using this. Honestly, maybe I should have done lamp black for these parts and then this. Well, you know, we've committed now. We're going to do it this way on this one, and maybe I'll come in with lamp black for the other one. I just want those cool tones in there to offset everything. I think you can already see, even in the camera, how just putting in some more blues, some more cool tones, like, you can kind of see the warmth in the gray and the shadows a little more clearly now. Because it's next to something cool. let's start bringing in some titanium white. A little more considered here, because I'm trying to do a little bit of a metallic effect, but nothing too extreme. We're going to keep it real simple. I feel like with oils, if it's an effect that I can't do with a frayed, shitty brush, it's almost an effect I'm not interested in doing. The fact is, you can do a lot with a frayed, shitty brush. I feel like I could definitely go more dramatic with all this, but this is our one Battlemaster that we're working on. We'll do some more. We'll do some more, and we'll try some new ideas. We'll try to punch it up a little bit. I'm gonna speed this up and just get these colors real easily blocked in here. Nothing complicated. Keep it simple, stupid. Oh, I failed to do something here. That's this blue on my antenna. The antenna want the blue. Antennae. Antennatoire. Hey, Supernaut, good to see you, man. Welcome in. How you doing? I don't think we'll get to the laser lensing tonight, but that's okay. I can get most of it done. I'll feel pretty good about that. This is experimental. We haven't done a Grey Death Legion mech since the last time we tried oil painting mechs, and we haven't done, you know, we haven't put oils on battle mechs in a while. So we're learning. We're learning. I'm gonna grab a little bit of titanium white, just about straight out of the tube at this point, because I'm not planning on going much higher. And this is a case here, Ion Raptor, you can see that the white and the blue are just mingling since I'm using the same brush, but I kind of want that in this case. Like I said, I don't want to go all the way to titanium white because I want to leave myself somewhere to go. I want to leave myself a highlight. A super high highlight if I decide to come back in with it. Of course, I realize I'm painting a PPC blue, and I'm going to want to do the glow effect on the barrel as blue, but whatever. It's a desaturated blue, and I'll do a really highly saturated blue for the glow. I'll use that as an opportunity to break out those Gamblin' Radiants when they get here, which should be... I mean, it should be this weekend. Fingers crossed. And I realize, of course, there's no reason I can't there's no reason I can't come back in here and add in a lamp black to deepen some of these shadows, too. There's no reason you can't make things darker. You don't have to make everything lighter. Well, I hope that the news on that was good, Supernaut. Judging from the context, I'm assuming that it was. Because that's some bullshit, my friend. Yeah, I think we'll save the laser lenses. We'll want to save those until everything is cured anyway, since I'm going to be laying down some very, very different colors on there. We'll save the laser lenses and the PPC glow for when I get my Gamblin' Radiance in, because I do want to try those out. I'm just going to use the same color to come in here and kind of throw a little edge highlight down on the gray strut. Why not? That should stand out. That should stand out nice against the red. And just pick up the edge of the cockpit here. I think using blues here is the right idea. Gonna make everything more visually distinct. I think the cockpit glass is the only part that really wants more work to stand out, other than the need to put in some green. You know, let's just do it. Let's just put in our base greens. Why the hell not, right? We've got a nice phthalo deep green here. It'll be super fine work lensing them, but if I put down my phthalo deep green now, and then wait a few hours, it should cure really, really nicely for me to do a simple freehand blend on top of. Let's thin you out. Well, that's something, man. Because that's when the expenses really start dialing up. Isn't it wonderful living in the modern United States where you have an injury and your first thought is, oh god, I'll never financially recover from this? Your first thought is, God, I hope I don't need medical care. And not for like a health reason, but for a purely financial one. The land of the free and the home of the don't take me to the hospital, I'll drive myself. These brushes do suck a little bit. The more I use them, the less comfortable I think I'd be sending these to people. I'll check out a few of the other packages and see if they suffer from similar issues. If they're this bad, I'll dial it up a few dollars and try some slightly more expensive synthetics, because this is really bottom of the barrel. I was just curious if they'd be good enough, and they've got some issues. You can paint with them, but I don't know if I'd want to stick a newbie with them and say, go, you know? Bottom of the apple barrel. Oh, that's mean to apple barrel paints. Like, these might be a good medium. These Zhuting brushes that I got. They're not great, but they've been functional enough. I'm going to grab some pure titanium white right out of the tube here on this untouched flat brush. Just for dropping some real bright spot highlights here. You see how quickly that gets muddy. Takes no time at all. Particularly when you're working with a white. And blend it out. I think what I'll do with some of my extra time here is come back in, and I want to punch this cockpit up a little bit. I like where the highlights are located, but I think more red is going to do nothing but help. Moving the shadows a little further into the recesses. It gets real dark real fast. Should have more of a transition. Yeah, nerve damage. Yay! Oh, it's just my nervous system, not my bones. Joy! Wasn't really using my central nervous system anyway. Just getting in the way, really. More little bits of interest in there and brighten these up towards the tips and from a slightly lower angle so that they'll look better. And I'm going to grab a touch of the pure French ultramarine. Just lay it in at the tip of the PPC. Just as a base. Like I said, I think I'll wait for the vibrants that are in the mail right now to finish doing a glow effect where needed, like on the lasers and on the PPC barrel. Because that Gambling Radiant's going to look real nice in here. But okay. So we still haven't quite hit the I'm gonna paint a whole many in oils in one stream goal. We still haven't quite hit that. I still find myself kind of experimenting and slowing down and then needing to come back a little bit later to do some finishing touches. Okay, that's fine. We're getting faster though, and the goal remains the same. Ooh, fantastic. That I'm glad to hear, Supernaut. But over the course of experimenting with some colors, trying to do a Grey Death Legion scheme, we did come up with this over the course of a single stream. And that's not half bad. We only need to touch up a couple things, do the final effects, do some lensing on it. This is a paint scheme I'd be happy to put on a table. For how very, very simple it was to do. If you wanted to complicate things a little bit more, you could bring the overall gray up, and then you could come in and do the sort of tiger stripe camo that Grey Death Legion is known to do, but I really like their just sort of plain gray. This still leaves space for me to do a Grey Death Legion decal on the shoulder here, and then the little colored dot that usually goes on their right leg to indicate, I think that's what company they're in? I think that's the GDL paint scheme. If I can get in and do some green lenses there on the lasers on the shoulders and then the blue glow here, that'll just add the little points of interest that are still necessary for this guy. Same thing on the medium lasers coming out of his back. Alright, so I'm going to take a short break. Folks, I need to get up, stretch my legs, refresh my water. Quick bio break. And I will be back in time for us to start the storm reports on time, I'm thinking. So y'all still have about 15 minutes to get your entries in. For those of you who don't know what the storm report is, which you might be out there, if you want to share some... Making it short, long story short, if you want to share some art with us, and I would love, love, love for you to do that, whether it be a painted mini, whether it be work in progress, something you finished a while ago, any other sort of art, if you work on canvas, if you've done some sculpting, if it's 3D art, whatever it is, I'd love to see it. And we'd all love to see it. So all you have to do is jump into the Thunderhead Studio Discord, which you can access by hitting !Discord. Where's the chat? Chat's over there. !Discord right over there in chat. Get yourself a link. Pop on in, head into the channel called The Storm Report, and go ahead and post it. Oh my god, what timing. Well, I'm like... what timing? Grim Nation Hobbies. Thank you so much for the raid, man. Thank you so much. This is what we've been working on tonight. I was literally just about to get up and take a quick break before we go into the storm report. Adrian, thanks for being here tonight, man. I hope you had fun. I'll give our raiders a chance to get in, because the last thing that I want them to... Oh my god. Well, we started two, but then I kind of got focused in on one because I wanted to try some things out before moving on to the second one. So we just kind of figured out how we were going to do a Grey Death Legion paint scheme, and this is what we came up with. Bubble cockpits are challenging. I'm still not sure that I'm totally happy with it, but I kind of like the red. I kind of like the red. Oh, I'm good, thank you. So yeah. We've been oil painting ourselves up some mechs and playing with some new ideas here. Please feel free to post some pictures in the storm report, Grim Nation. If you can get some snapped real quick, I would love to see what you've been working on tonight. I am just about to take a very, very short break. I normally take a bio break about this time every night, and I will be back, and we're going to go into our storm report, our community art review segment. So folks, stick around for just a few. I'll be right back with you. Pardon the delay, folks. Let's go ahead, do a little bit of cleanup and start our storm report, shall we? Just doing a little edge blending here. Pulling that out. Pretty decent looking GDL style classic unseen Battlemaster.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, still needs a little touching up, but that'll come later. Put my lid on my oil palette here. I used a couple of these brushes tonight. I'm glad that I broke open one of those packages and tried using them though, because yeah, I don't think I'm happy with that quality. We'll go to the next one down on the list. I had a few that I was considering. Let's go ahead and shift over and get started, shall we?
All right, locusts and gentlemechs, get ready to feast your eyes on glored paint and wet palettes with the occasional culinary atrocity thrown in on tonight's Storm Report, brought to you by viewers like you.
Okie dokie, what have we got here? Up first, from Ravencat, little bit of a test bed. I intend on doing a Battlemech Lance in this scheme. Holy moly. What, what scheme is this? Cupcake? Holy crap. The little area of cockpit up on the top here, and then the blue and these little touches of white just immediately make me think of like a cupcake, like they're sprinkles. That's just what my brain did when I saw this. It's very, very synthwave. With that, yeah. I was just thinking that too, Roland. Like Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon. I like it. Real vibrant pink to magenta thing going on here. What's it missing? I feel like I really, really like the gradient in the cockpit, the yellow to orange. That is very, very synth. I feel like it almost wants a little bit more pure white, or nearly pure white. Maybe just a few. No, because it has the little spots of it, which actually kind of work. I'm thinking maybe on the edges, just like maybe just where the vertices meet, maybe just where edges come together, just a little spot edge highlight of a higher white would maybe punch it up a little bit. I love the very, very slight magenta blend into black that you have going on the flat panels, though. I wouldn't want to change that, because that sharp contrast is what makes the look work. This is cool. This is really, really cool. That's just if I'm like, actively looking for something to change on it, but this is striking as hell. And you're gonna do some Battlemechs in this, huh? The old synthwave Lance. Well, please share when you do. It's definitely going to be the kind of scheme you're going to want to, I would think, pick Battlemechs that have fairly large expanses of cockpit glass, so that you could actually do this vibrant orange to yellow gradient, which I think this is fairly vital. I would almost want to find areas to repeat it elsewhere in the scheme, because like in the classic synthwave, like Vista, the flat plane going out to a horizon where a sun is sort of rising, and then the digital sky. In that classic Vista, this is a very, very important central color, so you really want it to be featured. So I think that I would choose Battlemechs based mostly on their I would choose Battlemechs based primarily on their aesthetics, and of those aesthetics, I would make sure I was picking something that had a large... Well, I guess you wouldn't have to do just the glass. You wouldn't have to do just the glass in that color. You could do the glass in like a green or something like that, and then you could do part of the fuselage, part of the torso with the the sort of rising sun orange. It's an interesting idea. Almost looks like the fuselage from an X-Wing fighter. What is this from? This looks like an E-Wing to me, but I don't think it is one. I'm trying to pull up in my head a visual of what an E-Wing fighter looks like. It's very similar to this, at least. Wait, is this an E-Wing? This might be one. This is an E-Wing. Yeah, okay. I'm not crazy. Because there's even, like, I was saying that, and then I was like, is that an astromech? That is an astromech droid. Huh. Okay, this is an E-Wing fighter. Okay. I'm not completely off base then. That's something. Well, it's certainly a good test bed for the scheme, and Ravencat, I am very much looking forward to seeing the first of your mechs in this scheme. You've got the method down. Let's try it on a mech and see how it looks, because like I said, this is going to be very important to the overall look. This as a focal point really sets off the whole scheme. Oh yeah, Binary Shield. By the way, how you doing today, man? It's good to see you. Kiwi Color Studios, welcome in. Oh, here we have from Nanotank's work in progress picture of a Blood Bowl Troll Slayer. Oh, this is coming together real well. I like the real deep color you started with for the hair. Painting red hair is challenging. You don't always want it to be... I mean, hair colors in general can be challenging, because you can be a redhead without being quite so orange as this. But if you're painting these Fire Slayer dwarfs, I think you definitely want to really punch it up. Some really high sheen, and obviously this is a work in progress. Whole areas of the model haven't even been touched. So giving advice on this is maybe a bit premature, since I feel sure you've still got plenty of work to go. I would just say making sure that we're bringing that hair up to an almost yellow, just a teeny amount of yellow for the really high sheen parts to set off the shape. Loving what you're doing here on the metallic parts, though. This is coming together wonderfully. Good skin tones, too. Lots of purples in there. Very natural. Wonderful work. Great work in progress, and this team is... You keep up this standard, this team is really going to be something. Damn nanotanks. Oh, here we have from Mafik. Arden and the founder of Iron Horns Company, Xeris, having a small tea time. The Gau's Fallen Lake as they're watching Xenia sparring with Elena. Just like her mother, right, Xeris? Arden asked. Yeah, she might be crazy and a psychopath, but she's a nice woman. Oh, this... I love Mafik's work. Xeris replied, drinking his coffee. This is Drenia Bloodtorch, aka the Cursed Bride. She was once a high-ranking warlord that Crystallion preferred them as a corrupt halo? That Crystallion preferred as a corrupted halo due to their appearance, the halo over their horns. High-ranking warlord that preferred them as a corrupted halo due to their appearance over... I'm assuming it's just talking about the halo flying over the horns in this case. She's also the wife of Xeris and Xenia's mother. Don't ask me about it, because I'm still recovering from burnout. Fair enough. She met Xeris at Yamato's landship pub, basically a wrecked UN battleship on the shore and used as a huge pub. Always my favorite part of these insane stories is when they cross over with things that exist in the real world. Drenia's ability is the Madman's Bombs. One of her hands brings a deadly aura, causing an opponent half body destroyed, causing the opponent... half of an opponent's body to be destroyed, I'm going to go with, and grows corrupted void crystals on them, turning them into suicide bombers. Of course, because why wouldn't it? Big floating hands on chains with bleeding eyeballs in the center. The most upsetting form of stigmata. My god, Mafik. And combine that with some bandaged booba and a halo floating around some darkness horns. My, oh my, what did this say originally? The Cursed, scribble, bride. Cursed indeed. This is an upsetting panoply of tools, weapons, or whatever they may be. Holy crap. The stitched robe, yeah. It's wonderful, isn't it? I like that a lot, too. I don't know if it's made from human skin. I guess every time I see something stitched together that roughly, I assume it's made of human skin, irregular pieces of it. Maybe that says more about me. I think it's the fact that it's obviously a semi-demonic entity with horrible bleeding stigmata hands floating around it that my brain just goes to, well, that's probably human skin. I mean, what else would it be? Like, come on. It follows. It tracks. Really, really nice work, though, there, Mafik. Mafik, I am really, really glad to hear that you are getting over that hump, getting out of that artist's block, because that is just a miserable place to be. Here we have from Wheezy. You asked for some more Somerset Strikers. Sorry, this is the best I can do. Jade Falcons. The Malthus Summoner is about a year old, and I think I've improved a lot since then. I should have, as I've painted around 50 mechs in that time. I see a lot I could do better today, but I still like it. Okay, I did update the cockpit and right arm lens. As before, it was a simple Citadel gemstone green. That's nice. That's nice. You've really nailed the lensing here. This is very, very effective. That single fine, perfect dot of white glare is what really sells it in both cases. It's very tricky to apply, and you've done a wonderful job. Really like the lensing on the cockpit, too. This is a good take on Malthus's Summoner, really. It's a little more subdued than it was necessarily animated to be. I think the red in the cartoon was a little fucking wild. It was a bit much. But you've kind of done the same with the Somerset Strikers. You've really punched up the green-yellow camo and then kind of dulled down the rest of it. And I think that it reads a lot better this way. Nice job on the basing on both of them, too, by the way. I like the combination of static grass, dirt, and then rocks. Getting that variation in texture, particularly at this scale, helps to sell the scale, because this would be very tall grass and fairly large boulders, but, you know, landscapes change. It's fairly, I don't say fairly rare, it's somewhat rare that you encounter landscapes that are just perfectly homogeneous across a long distance. And we have to bear in mind when we're doing things in 6mm, that's like 30 feet across. And across 30 feet, you would probably have grass transition to some dirt patches at the very least. Lovely. Lovely. Just lovely work, Wheezy, and good. I think that because these are focal points, they're absolutely worth coming back to. I wouldn't come back and redo the whole paint scheme, but little focal points like this where you can do it quickly and you know your brush control has improved, definitely worthwhile. Here we have from Grim Nation Hobbies. Savage Orc team is growing, decided to get fancy with another skin tone. I don't know if I like somewhat human skin tone orc. I don't know if I like this at all. This is unsettling. Like, okay, it's sort of orange. It's less red than the other one. It's very human. Like, I could see this being... You could do this skin tone on a human being, and it would look fine. And as a result, I find... It's an ochre. It's yellowish. I can't put my finger on exactly what about it is as upsetting as it is. But something about the... I think that's it. That I could see this skin tone on a human being, and here it is on an orc with big horrible fangs and a gaping maw and rippling muscles. It's just, ugh. Yeah. Like, the paint job is fantastic. I think it looks wonderful, Grim Nation Hobbies. Really good job on the hair, too. Really, really digging this red. That red is just lovely. But it also makes my skin crawl a little bit. Just a little bit. Man, Grim Nation, keep up the good work, dude. I love the fact that we're going to see a team of orcs out of you that have such varied skin tones. More like a mutated... That's what it is. That's what it is, Negative Charisma. When I look at this, my brain goes mutated human. And then this becomes a body horror thing for me. That's exactly what it is. So, most people probably won't have this reaction to it. But, ew. Makes him perfect for Blood Bowl. There you go. Really nice work, Grim Nation. And thank you so much for the raid, by the way. I hope your stream went well. Here we have from Project Dark Fox. Let's see. Working on an older commission from the backlog. Colors are not final. Oh, that's nice and crisp, isn't it? Oh, look at our little homeboy up here. Who is some kind of fox, dragon, bird, lady. Sure. Why the hell not? Got a cooling vest on, got the whole deal, sitting on the arm of the Marauder. Really nice perspective work on this overall. Good, clean lines. The proportions all look good. I really like how you've done the cockpit here with the shroud coming down over it and then having it cut in on the 4 different planes. I don't know if that's how the original art was. It probably is, since that's what you're basing that off of, but if it is, I've never quite noticed this little alcove here. I think in my head I always assumed that it was just glass bridging one edge to the other, but that's really, really neat. It would limit your ability to look up, but you probably don't need to look up all that much in a mech. I mean, really, what are you looking at up there that you're going to be able to affect in a mech? Come on. It's the MWO Marauder 2, yeah. Very nicely done, Project Dark Fox. Very nicely done indeed. And I like the little character just chilling on the weapon. That's a nice touch. Where do you get into it? Where's the entryway hatch? That's my question. Is this it? Right here? This sort of flap that's sticking up? Anytime I see somebody like sitting on a mech, my question is, how do you get in? How did they get there? Probably on the cowl, yeah, maybe like up here, like a hatch like here, or maybe down here. I'm not sure. I guess it doesn't really matter. It's just where my brain goes. Project Dark Fox, lovely, lovely work, and thank you for sharing. Farther back on the top, maybe like back here, climb in, but then you have all this space becomes crew access way. I don't know. That's a service panel. Okay, they're holding onto a pad. Oh, I see it now. Yeah, there's a little wire right there. So they're holding onto like a data pad, and they're plugged into a service panel. They're getting the readout on their transmission. Always been depicted on the top. Well, yeah, the other Marauders. Yeah, the Marauder 1. You go take care of the Dog Grim Nation. Thank you very much for the raid, and thanks for hanging out tonight. What do we have next? Here we have from POW Rogue. So close to finishing, I need base ideas. So I've started to doubt myself now that I see the rest of this model come together. Because I thought that you were just doing the sort of the Colossus-style banding on Juggernaut because he was supposed to be wearing a metal suit. But now with the shoulder pads and the chest details, I look at this and I go, well, that's Colossus. But with a Juggernaut helmet. And now I'm confused. Is that a thing? Is this a meme that I'm not aware of? Is this something that happened in the comics? Like, I have no idea why we're combining Colossus and Juggernaut. He is the Juggernaut. Okay. He's just wearing a metal suit in the style. That was a thing in the comic at a time. The Unstoppable Colossus. Okay, I missed this entirely then. Colossus has been the Phoenix. I don't know why they wouldn't make him Juggernaut too. The Colossus is the Juggernaut. Okay, I was completely ignorant of this. So this is Colossus wearing Juggernaut's helmet and being the Juggernaut for some reason. I'm gonna have to hit a Wikipedia after this, because I'm like, why? I mean, he turns into metal. Why would he? How? I don't understand. But okay, sure. Because comic books, yeah. I mean, fundamentally, the reason is going to be because they were sitting around a table one day and they were like, we got to sell more comics, we got to have something happen. Let's just sort of mash Colossus and Juggernaut together and see what comes out the other end. Alright, I'll buy it. I'm going to go look it up on the wiki. I'm absolutely going to go look it up on the wiki because I have no idea why this would have happened. The sculpting is beautiful, though. I love the inclusion of the little, what are they called? Little stress folds across the fabric bits to sell the texture coming down over here, appropriately placed since this arm is oriented back like so. As far as basing ideas, the first thing I think of when I see this for a base is concrete with footprints in it. You know? I don't know if you want to put too many big objects on it because you really want people to focus on the model, but if you do like sculpted concrete or something like a bouncy castle, there you go. Something with like a curb on it so you can tell that it's supposed to be street level, and then have some imprinted footsteps behind him, like every time he hits the ground, he's leaving a big nasty hole in it, and have like the footprint punch down into the concrete and then some little cracks spreading out from each one. I think that could look really cool. You wouldn't have that much space to do too many of them. You could do one under one of his feet, and then you could do one, maybe two more behind him if you put him sort of far forward on the base. Yeah, that's a good idea too, Kaylee. A little chunk of concrete under the downward foot. As if it's being, like, drawn up when he sort of pulls his foot up. I could see that. Really, really nice sculpting work on this overall. All the textures read fantastically, and the render angle, I agree, is fantastic. It's the shoulders. It's when the shoulders came in, then I was like, oh wait, no, that's Colossus, because that's totally his outfit. I really just figured that the banding on the limbs was just to sell it he was wearing a metal suit, because this is the kind of detail that multiple characters could have. But the banding in tandem with the chest piece and the shoulders, nope, that's Colossus, all right. Now, GM Kaylee, we do close entries when the Storm Report starts, but you can go ahead and redeem it now to get yourself a second slot in the next one that we'll be doing on Sunday. That's no problem at all. All right, here we have from Punexpected. You know you get deep into a hobby when you decide to take a hand at making your own paint. Oh, God. Oh, no. Laid out a workspace to spend a good part of the weekend mulling and tubing custom oils. Got 4 near whites to start with. We'll share results at a later date and plan on bringing samples to Adepticon. I am hoping to make it to Adepticon. I'll know by the end of February, and I'm going to talk with... I'm going to talk with Dr. Rhino about potential lodging for that. Hopefully we can make that happen. And if I'm there, and if you got samples of this paint, I mean, bring me some. I want some. I want some of your paint. Oh man, look at all this. What a process. I'm not going to let myself get into this. I'm not going to let Look, I'm already delving into oil paints and literally every other goddamn thing there is. I'm not going to mix my own oil paints. I won't do it. You know what I'll do, though? I'll try your mixed oil paints. I'll try Grim Nation Hobbies mixed oil paints, and I will con Steal a Rebel into sending me some of her Japanese pigment oil paints. I will use the oil paints that you mix, but I'm not going to do it. Shut up, Automat. Shh, 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 hush, hush. I know, it's only 26 days away. It's coming right up. Well, I'm excited to see the results, Punexpected. Here we have from Bridget Wolf. Not much, but a little sketch I did on a dare from Captain Krabs. He dared me on stream, how dare he, to draw a crab in Daisy Dukes. Oh no, of course I wasn't gonna let that go. Oh, and it's got an ara. Oh, this is more unsettling than the human skin tone orc. Oh my god. Why is this a thing? I mean, I know why, and that still doesn't help me. Of course, this is when Hootie Hoo shows up. This is when Hootie Hoo makes his presence known. It's like I say, sexy pirate, and he just pops out of a fucking treasure chest somewhere, like, did someone say ara ara? This is ridiculous. Fucking binary shield. This better not awaken anything in me. Can I just say, of everything that's going on here, can we take special note of our Jolly Roger crab? Because this is amazing. The little Sculla crab with the fucking claws sticking up, and what appears to be, like, even the Jolly Roger crab is very, very uncomfortable with what's happening here. Told the captain he could put this on his only crabs. Oh, well, I'm glad. I'm glad we've got something for everybody, including you, Wombat Combat. How you doing today, man? Let's just keep going, because I don't like the way this crab is looking at me. I don't like it one little bit. Well, nicely met, Bridget Wolf. I would say mission accomplished. Oh, let's see what we've got from Dr. Rhino, working on some more of his fucking lime green Chaos Marines. Such a bold color choice. Really, really gets set off well by his choice in basing, and I look forward to seeing that come down on this guy too. You can see it in the background here on his Mauler Fiend, Forge Fiend, some kind of Fiend. I don't know any of the new Chaos models. I realize the Mauler Fiend / Forge Fiend is years old at this point, but my brain just doesn't retain that information. Only crustaceans. Let's not leave out the lobsters. Onlyarthropods.com. Maybe that's a bit too broad. Then we'd have like sexy ants, and nobody wants that. That's God. Why do I say these things? Really, really like the simple gradient you got on this. And what I have to say, of everything that's going on here, Dr. Rhino, when you get around to seeing this, my favorite thing is what you've done with the head. He looks sickly and pallid, but the flesh tones still work because you have this kind of purplish red down here in the shadows, then coming up to this very pallid skin tone. And I don't know if you've done it on purpose. I suspect you may have. It almost looks like he has liver spots on his forehead there. Ew. I like it. He looks gross. He also looks like he's maybe missing a tooth. If he isn't, you should come in there and just reinforce that with a little bit of black. He looks all fucked up is what he looks like. And frankly, that's what Chaos Marines probably should look like. For God's sake, he has a horn growing out of his skin through his armor over here. So yeah, he probably wouldn't have the best dental hygiene to go along with that. Thank you for getting that shout out, by the way, Riot Sister. Hootie Hoo, how are you doing today, man? It's always good to see you in chat. Hootie Hoo, who is a fantastic, really, really fantastic artist. And now been a VTuber for quite some time. Sometimes I forget how much time has passed. But folks, go drop him a follow and check out his next stream. He has a fantastic voice and a great community. This is from Merlin Models. He said he was working on some cosplay props. I see. So when I saw the base for this, and I saw him doing the wood texture, I wasn't totally sure. But now that I see the straight silver, I know that this has to be a Tanith First and Only cosplay. With some Nalwood furniture, yeah, on the stock and over the forward assembly here, and then we got that Tanith straight silver. What's their insignia is a skull with 1, 2, 3 daggers through it, and they've broken 2 of the daggers off because there were supposed to be 3 regiments, but only 1 survived, so they were first and only, so they broke the other 2 daggers off. I hate to make suggestions when we're this far along a build, and I guess I can't strictly say that this is meant definitely to be Tanith First and Only. But it would be kind of cool if you did the insignia somewhere on. Like when I see this, I think like it would be cool to have the 2 broken dagger. Well, I don't know. Would you do the logo with daggers on your dagger though? That might be too many daggers. Yeah, never mind. Never mind. Merlin, forget I said anything. I assume you'll probably have a Tanith First and Only pin on your cosplay, and that's where it should be. I forget as I'm looking at a cosplay prop that this is one small part of what is going to be a whole costume. So, yeah, if you got the Tanith pin. This is really nice. I love the wood grain texture you've got here. I'm assuming this is EVA foam that you've been sculpting with, too. It's just daggers all the way. The daggers just get smaller and smaller. It's like a nesting doll. Each of the daggers on the logo has more daggers on it. It's perfect. Oh my god. I like this too. This is a detail from some of the models, the way this sort of barrel cowling has been done. This is a well-built prop. It's big and it's chunky too, which I actually like that in 40k props. It's maybe a little chunkier than it necessarily needs to be, but it also sort of echoes the aesthetics of 40k itself, where everything's a little extra chunky because they were designed to be models. The wood grain texture really came out nice. This is what my eye is continually drawn to. Needs more knives. It needs more Choppa, more Daka. I like the way you think, Hootie. Wonderful work on this, Merlin models. I'm curious if you're doing... I know he's not here now. He had to take off earlier, but I'm curious if you're doing a specific character or just broadly one of the however many people were in that first founding. Here we have from Zombie Brush Studios, the start of what I convinced the owner to stock. Order a few of each set, but only have it coming in piecemeal, sadly. Have some interest already. Will be good to form my own community here in Columbus. Ooh, look at that. Hey, you know what? This is a start. This is more than a lot of people get, period. Damn, that Kodiak is a big model. I didn't realize it was as large as it is. I mean, I guess it's an assault mech, but... Jesus, it's huge. Kodiak is assault, isn't it? You got the new Tamar Rising book in. Well, damn good work, Zombie Brush. You keep on pushing it. Keep on making more and more people get into Battletech. It has been such an inaccessible game for so long. I'm glad. I'm just glad to see more and more people getting access to it, playing it, and enjoying it. Yeah, the 100-ton totem. Yeah, that's what I thought so. In my head, I was thinking it was 90 to 95, but yeah, if it's 100-ton, then that definitely makes sense. Here we have from Vergaderung, finally got the Vulcan resin to work. Took 6 seconds at 0.02 for some... 6 seconds? You have a mono screen, don't you? How could it take 6 seconds on a mono screen? That... Huh, okay. Also, thicken the connection to the longest missile, which was a failure point. Should be fine now. Now that the resin is properly printing, the parts have a decent amount of flex and strength. We use it for thin bits, but for everything else, I think I'll still use the water washable. Yeah, the water washable definitely gets a bit brittle. No idea, and the manufacturers don't either. That is concerning. Is it all the same batch? You just have the one batch you've been trying to make work? Is it possible that you got a bad mixture? Because it shouldn't take that long to cure. That's weird. Okay, so this is our original on the left and our thickened on the right. And yeah, you can definitely see the connection point for the missile being thickened out. It really works for missiles. You don't need the smoke to be particularly thin. It would billow out almost immediately, and I like the nice sort of spiral effect that you have going here. That is a good-looking missile cluster. Good, simple detailing on it. I like how you have the Sidewinder set up, where it's got 2 groupings of 4 stabilizer fins at the front and back. It's very, very iconic. It's longer than most. They suggested 3.6 to 4. Yeah, I would think no more than 4 on a mono screen. That seems nuts. I mean, you know, if you've got the settings that work for you, then go ahead and use it, and maybe see if it's different on another bottle. If you get another bottle of it, I would try it at lower settings. Because that is odd. Huh. Alright. Well, lovely work. Here we have from Sam Mini. Little bit advance on the dwarf. Non-metallic metal started. Every time I'm starting to feel better about my work on non-metallic metal, Sam Mini has just got to come in here. He's just got to come in here, and he's got to whip out his non-metallic metal and just flop it down on the desk right in front of me. And you know what? I don't mind one fucking bit, because it looks really good. I'm starting to... after spending a lot of time doing it, I'm less intimidated by non-metallic metals now than I have been essentially over the entire duration of my painting career. It still doesn't come as naturally to me as it does to some, but it's just a practice thing. It's just a practice thing. I'll say, Sam Mini, you're starting on the non-metallic metals, but can I take a moment to compliment the work you've done on the beard? A big mass of hair like this, it is often difficult to differentiate things like, you know, the mustache from the beard hair itself, particularly when there's something like he's turned and he's got part of the bushy beard is still over here and the part connected to his chin as opposed to his neck is sort of rotated, and then he's got his mustache laying over top of it. It can all sort of blend together, but you've done a wonderful job of keeping shadows under the sections here and of picking up those little sheeny bits where the light would be catching it. The beard is coming together wonderfully. I know you're not done, Sam Mini. I've seen your work. You forget. I know you're not done. I like what you've done on the leather here, too. Damn. All the little scratches are coming together so well. I gotta do more busts and statues. Why am I painting things that are so damn small? Sam Minnie, lovely work. And did we get a shout out, by the way, for Sam Minnie? He's got a stream on here where he works on this stuff, and it's fucking amazing to watch. Oh, here we have from Riot's sister, digital art done in oils. Since everyone else is using them, I thought I should too. Inspired by those Wombo Art AI-generated cards. That's what I thought this was at first. When it came onto the screen, I thought, oh, it's one of those Wombo AI arts. It has a similar... You've done a really, really good job of kind of imitating the style here, Riot Sister. Because there are definitely pieces of it that my brain, and this happens every time I see the AI art, my brain tries to latch on to parts of it and tries to make sense of parts of it. My brain says, oh, there's a face, like there's a mouth and a nose and an eye, but like, there isn't really. It's kind of a face, I guess if you, maybe this part's covered up, but then this also has like an eye in it, but it's not one. And like down here again, I'm seeing like that could be an eye and maybe some glasses and a nose and a mouth, but it's not though, because what is this? So you're doing a good job setting off the pattern recognition part of my lizard brain and then frustrating it terribly, which is always what that art does. I look at it and I'm like, oh, it's two wolves looking out over a frozen plain. And then I look closer and I'm like, oh god, no, it isn't. It's nothing. It's nothing. It's just color and shape. And it's strangely hypnotic. I see an old woman and a cat. I can kind of see, like... In fact, Riot Sister, parts of this may make too much sense. Because this does kind of look like a kitty cat here. This little shape here reminds me of a kitty cat. This looks like a fat little raven. This right here, you can see there's an eye and the beak, and he's got a little tum-tum, and he's got these short little funny wings, and he's sitting. His little feet are sticking out. He's sitting on whatever this is. There's sort of a, I think this is a butt. It looks like a woman wearing a dress and leaning off to one side. Maybe holding a fan. Maybe this is part of the dress. Maybe this is like an internal fold of the dress. But then this is fucking nothing. Okay. I gotta stop analyzing this. I've gotta stop analyzing this. It's well done, is what it is. And, oh, okay, yeah. The more I look at it, the more it hurts. Let's keep going. Lovely. Lovely use of color, by the way, Riot Sister. Very, very evocative. Here we have from Automat Americana. I had to mash some images together this time because I got a lot done. That's a good feeling. Still, I honestly fell short of my goals. Oh, shucks. Did some detailing, particularly in the back, and got the legs done, I think. Might be coming back to those later. Also redid the pauldrons after seeing some concept art I liked. Also threw in one little detail earlier today that, well, it's not going to stay as the details would never print. I know that feeling. Did it on a lark, and because the idea alone was enough to make me chuckle. Unlike the arms, I really need the legs to be posable so I can do a few versions of them. So I'm going to try to fudge it, make it look like they just slide over around each other in the classic anime sort of way. Likely never work in real life. Sometimes you just gotta fudge them. Look, you gotta remember Automat, and this is one of the reasons I like those old anime mechs. We're not really building robots. We're not building real functional robots. Nobody's ever gonna make a real version of this. Nor should they. They don't need to work. I know that, like, the engineer inside of you probably wants it to work for the sake of plausibility, but they don't need to work. Let it go. Just let it go. Be proud of it. I don't care if you're not proud of it. Be proud of it. Gonna have a good spot of detailing to do on the pelvis as well. I like it. I like it. Good and clean. How's my driving? Yeah, no, that would never print. If you printed this at a larger scale, it would. But I mean, it works just for the joke. the old Spaceballs bumper sticker. Put on "We Break for No One." It's the reason why mecha anime usually turn you off. See, that's part of what makes it work for me, Automat. I need them to be plausible. I don't need them to be functional. I'd rather artists have more freedom. Artists aren't engineers. Artists are fundamentally not engineers, and while there is room for engineering in creating good art, and there's room for art in engineering things to be aesthetically pleasing, when we're firing off our imaginations, we shouldn't be stymied when we're designing giant robots by, well, this joint wouldn't really function. Like, well, no, the joint wouldn't really function, but neither would the fucking machine at all on any conceptual level. Even if every single joint functioned perfectly, it would stand up and then sink knee-deep into the ground and collapse in on itself like a fucking dwarf star. So, let's, maybe not take it too far. Both and neither. I sympathize, Automad. Just enough plausibility for the in-setting characters to talk about it in a realistic manner is all I ask for. Yeah, I just want it to meet the basic standards for my plausible suspension of disbelief, Kaylee. That's all I want. Either way, the construction's coming along nicely, Automat. Here we have from the Happy Heretic, Great John Umber painted in oils. Ooh la la, look at that. With some TMM in there. Oh, this looks lovely. Good work on the face, too. I like how he's a little pale. He's kind of got a pallid tone to his skin, because Great John Umber he's one of the Northmen. And one would think they'd be perhaps a little paler than their southern, more equatorial cousins. I like how dirty the red is on this little tabard hanging down in front of his what would this be? Lamellar armor? It's not quite lamellar. It's more of like a coat of plates extended down to a skirt. Really like the kind of natural yellow linen color that you have in here, contrasting well with the fur. I would say the fur and his hair. If you held a gun to my head and said, criticize this or change something, the only thing that I would say, Happy Heretic, is that the fur around his shearling collar and his hair are just a little too close in tone. And if all you did was adjust one to be a little warmer, a little redder, either his hair or the shearling, it would just help them stand out from one another. Lovely. Lovely work, though. I really do like this dirty red you've got going on down here. Fantastic work, Happy Heretic. Here we have from Chewy, oh boy, painting models for the Midara board game campaign my group is starting. Here are the main characters. Been focusing on speed since there are so many models to paint, which is not my comfort zone. I know the feeling. I'm a very slow painter. I'm trying, though. I'm trying. Decently happy with how they've come out. Have learned a lot about making maximum impact with as little effort as possible. This is the goal. Also, the minis are a slightly smaller scale than normal, which makes getting their faces looking good a real challenge. At a small enough scale with the face, ultimately all you need to do is just kind of establish the basic shapes. You know, your nose, chin, the two triangles of the cheeks, and just kind of move on. Thoughts and feedback always appreciated. These are striking. Yeah, if this is you working on speed and trying to get maximum impact with minimal effort and total simplicity, I would say you are pulling it off. Excellent use of temperatures in the palette here, where we go from warm to cool to warm to cool to warm to cool to warm, back up to cool, and then we got a nice purple mixed in here. We've got our green repeated here and here, really a vibrant, nice jade. I like the blue on the sword here. The wings look fantastic. Again, I see what you mean. It's simple. You've made good use of a deep black line between the feathers to really sell the shapes, and then kept the highlights simple. I like the color of it. Good job on the musculature on Dual Hammer DJ Bro over here. I have no idea what his deal is, but he seems like a cool guy. What with his chain wallet. By the way, nice highlighting on this. Simple. It's just two colors. But I can tell what it's supposed to be, and that's what matters. And you have that nice division between that and the really vibrant green of the pants, and that is sort of next to the blue of the hammers, which you've made very blue. I like that quite a lot. Again, over here, we've got a good contrast between everything going on here. I definitely see how these faces would be a challenge. Nice job picking out a couple of the hairs on his beard here. I can see how this detail would disappear into the model really easily if you didn't go in and kind of pull out some of that texture. Honestly, these look fucking great. These look great. If these are the results you're getting trying to paint fast with maximum impact for minimal effort, you are succeeding, Chewy. Keep that shit up. I would love to criticize something. I'd love to criticize something here for you. But given the goals and the scale, I don't think I can in good conscience or in good faith. Even the flesh tones here on the leg. I love how you've got the thigh lighter. We drop down into some purples for the calf as the surface sort of moves in and the shadow comes in. And you picked up a little bit more of the flesh tone for the ankle just above the shoe. It's an effective way to paint a leg. Lovely. Lovely work, Chewy. Oh, what do we have? What do we have from Roland? Hold on. Let's turn our pretzel down for a second. What? Why is this a video? I don't know why it's a video. Is something happening that I'm missing? It doesn't appear to be, but there is certainly what looks like water and ice in that Thunderhead Studio mug, which has been received. As long as you don't know either, Roland, then I don't feel so bad. If you don't know why it's a video, then I can be clueless and that's acceptable. Oh, you got some Pepsi in there. Well, I'm glad that you got your Thunderhead Studio mug, Roland, and I hope it serves you well. They're really nice mugs. They really are. Rainy River Designs has done a fantastic job on them. It might be coming time in the near future to rethink the design of the Thunderhead Studio mug, just to mix it up. For something a little fresh. Raven Cat, how you doing? We were just gushing over your fucking Synthwave E-Wing right at the start of the report, man. Had a few comments on it, but it looks real nice, and I'm looking forward to seeing that going down on some mechs. And wha-bam. Wait, we already saw this one, didn't we? Yeah. You got your mug in along with your Kiernan's. I mean, I'm not complaining. It's a lovely design. Roland, I can't wait to see these painted up and some photos taken with your new backdrop. They're gonna look great, man. They're gonna look absolutely great. You've been thinking about that, Data Nerd? Let's think on that together. Let's think on that together. Well, I'm glad you got that stuff in, Roland. Man. I am excited to see these Kiernans get some paint on them. Very cool. And goddamn, Chewy, I keep looking at this. You know how I know that these are well painted, Chewy? You know how I know? Because I look at them up here and they look really good. Oh my god, I like the chest hair on this guy. Woof. I know that they look good because when they're in this tiny little thumbnail here, they still look good. I can tell what they're supposed to be when they're tiny and far away from me. This is precisely what you need in board game pieces, because how often are people going to be sticking their face down by the board? It's just not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. But what is going to happen is the end of the Storm Report, and thus the end of the stream. Oh man, we got started late, and then we had kind of a short Storm Report, so we're kind of turning in early tonight. I wonder who's streaming. Let's find out. Why don't I have Twitch open anywhere? I always have Twitch open somewhere. What's wrong with me? I guess I don't. Hang on. I need to set up a proper, like, holder for a keyboard over here so I don't have to constantly move over and bring it to my painting desk. But this desk was concepted as just a painting desk, after all. Oh, let's see. Hootie Hoo's playing some Elden Ring. Commander Mittens is painting some Lumineth. Steep T is going... I guess we're going to raid Commander Mittens. She's one of the few people I have that I'm following who is currently doing some painting. So why don't we go ahead and get started on... I say that like that's a bad thing. I guess we're going to raid Commander Mittens, you guys. I guess we're going to raid one of the most friendly, talented painters on Twitch. Oh, shucks. Oh, no. Oh, we're so put upon. It's so terrible. Let's get that going. Let's get that started, why don't we? Oh, man, oh, man, oh, man. It was good. Maybe I can actually get to bed at a reasonable hour tonight this way. Oh, folks. A huge thank you to everybody who came out tonight. It's been a weird week for me. It's been a weird week with a lot of false starts, and I'm really just like... I feel like my whole life is a series of stumble and then try to get back up into some productivity and maybe ride that for a little bit and then stumble again and pick my... But, you know, I guess that is just life, isn't it? So we're going to keep picking ourselves back up. We're going to keep going. We're going to keep trying. We're going to keep improving. So thank you guys for being here tonight as I try to keep working, as I try to keep improving. Thank you for sharing your work with me as always. It helps me. It helps me as an artist, and I hope that it's helpful to you too. I really do. And a huge thank you as always to my amazing team of mods. You guys are the best. You have to be one of the best mod teams on Twitch. I can't imagine that there are any that are that much better. Here we have, I'm still doing the Storm Report. We'll be back Sunday. We're going to be getting back to our mounted squires for Conquest. Tuesday, we're going to try to finish those off. We got 3 of them. And then Thursday, we're going to come back to some Battletech vehicles from Rainy River Designs with Rainy River acrylics, so make sure you're here for that. I'm going to send you over to Commander Mittens. Until next time, keep on painting.